truth under attack. Everybody's loud, nobody's got facts. Feeds keep scrolling, nerves stay tight. Matchsticks flicked in the dead of night. They sell fear, cheap package the lies, while the clock keeps ticking, empires on fire. Can't sit quiet while the world's on edge. Lines in the sand, standing on the ledge. No script, no leash, no polish, quiet. Just a voice in the dark and a spark to the wire. This is and I'll bring the fire. Gonna light it higher. No filter, no fear, I say it raw. Strike the match, let it burn through the fog. This is and I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. Everybody's selling truth like a brand, buying opinions they don't understand. Talking in circles, screaming online. Keyboard courage, borrowed spines. Yeah, power plays dressed up as peace. Same old wolves with different teeth. But silence is loud when the house is burning. And the fuse is short, yeah, it's still learning. I don't dance for the left or the right. I stand in the heat, I stand in the fight. No strings, no chains, no manufactured choir. Just gasoline thoughts and an open lighter. This is and I'll bring the fire. Gonna light it higher. No filter, no fear, I say it raw. Strike the match, let it burn through the fog. This is and I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. The world's on tilt, pressure climbing. Truth don't whisper, it's perfect timing. You can't cancel the smoke, you can't stop flame. Say my name when it hits. Say my name. Why? Say my name. Say my name. Fire don't ask permission. Fire don't need a side. Fire just shows up honest and exposes the lie. This is and I'll bring the fire. Truth hits harder. Burn it down till what's real survives. No smoke, no mirrors, just heat and lies. And I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. American fire. Strike it. Let it speak.
Hey guys, happy Friday. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Who's got plans? Who's going out there? Who's doing some fun? Who's going to the beach where it's nice and crowded and crazy? You know, you make your choices, folks. Make your choices. But 3-day weekend for many people. Welcome to the show. What a day, man. The City of London, Deep State, Davos, Globalist Cabal has put out the word, and it's pretty clear they are trying to strike back after what Trump accomplished the last few weeks with redistricting, with primarying RINOs out. The establishment is mad. They are big mad. Nothing they're doing is working. The influencers are a joke. The Democrats are a disaster, and the RINO Republicans are now fighting back from the inside because they don't have much else to go. So we are going to cover all that today, how it is obvious there is major psyops being branched out, opened up. They are using the Republicans now to obstruct Trump more than ever, and how Trump is got a plan to, well, he's just going to remake our Congress, guys. So getting through the midterms into next year, we should have a better Congress than ever in that direction. And again, I keep coming back to it, man. Who's going to be like, Trump is the winner. He keeps winning. They keep thinking they're going to beat him, and he just keeps pulling it off time and time again. I don't think this time will be any different, but in the meantime, we're going to cover how it goes. All right, if you are ready to get started, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Thank you guys for watching and spending your next couple of hours with me. Let's get into the chizat. I want to say hey to some folks, the people showing up early or on time, I should say, both in this circumstance. But again, please hit that like, hit that subscribe, and let me know how excited you are for a Memorial Day weekend. All right, Pat M, numero uno tonight or today on YouTube. We got Barefoot by DC, Foundation Preacher, Aiden Scorland, Dog, Linda Telly, Tammy Anderson, one of the many, Christina, Kim Trump, Toe Cramp, Wago Waco, Mark R, Dad Bod Todd, Taya Day, Andy Brewer. What's up, man? It's been a bit. Shogun, I've been missing you, show. Where you been, man? Dan the Man Greene, Jesus Saves, Gen X MAGA, David 836. We have Johnny Strayhorn, Scott Volkovich, Mites, Cletus. Was that in you guys remember the Nutty Professor with Eddie Murphy? Cletus! Max Clownteen, Jay Tyrus, Paul Walker, the still living one. You're not the old Paul Walker, are you? That'd be weird. Ryan Edberg. We have so many in the house. Can't call you all out. Sorry, guys. Just don't have the time anymore as the channel keeps growing. But get here early enough, and you will also get shouted out. We got Pixel Snap, I Love Music, Aloha Patriot, and AZ Tropic holding it down over there on Rumble. Glad to have you guys. And for everybody watching on X, I appreciate you as well. I just can't see the chat. So talk to Elon, let him know he could work on that for me, and we'll get going. We'll get going. Where's my sombrero? Z-Grooms, how dare you? How dare you out me? This is my sombrero, and it drives people nuts, my Niners hat, and that's okay. I like to create the controversy. We can all agree on MAGA, but we probably won't all agree on football, and that's okay, because this year my team's going to be awesome. Anyways, we're going to get into it. As always, guys, please join in the chat. I do stop in between segments to speak to the chat, to check in, answer questions, reach out to those with the best comments that I can see. If you're really trying to get my attention, as always, tag me so I can at least see it. I have a shot of finding it. And if you just really got to get it to me, you just have something you got to say, you can always support the channel with a super chat, and that will be guaranteed to be read. Everybody in the chat is welcome except the trolls. The trolls will get banned because we just don't abide by it here. We want real people having real discussions that are honorable and respectful. Alrighty, let's get into it today. Are you guys ready? Jesus Saves, so much news popping for the ultimate win over the deep state. Boom, boom, boom. Absolutely. Olden, let's see. Olden Nong Plugged says, I don't know what name that is. Says Americans' real enemies are within. Democrats, RINOs, MSMs, and fake MAGA influencers. Well, tons of them are. They're just not all within, and they come from other places. So Foundation Preacher, I forgot your super chat came in too late, my friend, yesterday, but we've already spoken on it, and you know I love you. I love you. Long time friend. Okay, let's get into it, folks. Yesterday, the Senate, John Thune Senate, staged a walkout in protest of President Trump completely abandoning getting anything done before the June 1st deadline for the reconciliation bill to get DHS funded. They think this is their way to give a big FU middle finger to the president because they are mad. They are big mad. He has now chased John Cornyn out, Bill Cassidy, and yes, Thomas Massie. So let's see what Fox had to say about this.
Of chaos on Capitol Hill as Senate Republicans are now set to go home until June. That's significant because that now puts them on course to miss a June 1st deadline that was set by President Trump to pass a reconciliation funding package to give money to both ICE and CBP. For more on that, we're going to send it out to Fox News Chief Congressional Correspondent Chad Pergram on Capitol Hill. Chad, sounds like things just completely fell apart today.
Sorry,
Fill us in what happened.
Gross. Sorry.
Bill, good afternoon. Here's what happened. Todd Blanche, the acting attorney general, was summoned to Capitol Hill to meet with Senate Republicans. They had a lot of concerns about this compensation fund, and they were going to have to go through what's called a vote-a-rama, a lengthy vote series where Democrats were going to put Republican senators on the record on every single vote here voting on something related to that compensation fund. And there were some Republicans who had a lot of reservations about this, too. I am told that they have to go back to the drawing board and completely start this bill again. I'm told that Tom Cotton, Republican senator from Arkansas, had some very pointed questions to Todd Blanche in that meeting today. The same with Chuck Grassley, the longtime senator from Iowa as well. And you could see just how glum some of the senators were, some not even talking to the press because they just wanted to get out.
So glum.
As soon as they
so
sent out
sad.
the notice that they were cutting senators, that is the signal that this bill to fund the Border Patrol and ICE is dead in the water. The whole idea was that they were going to work late this week, get this done maybe in the Senate overnight tonight, and then move this to the House of Representatives, and the House would just have to sync up. As you mentioned, this June 1st deadline, that's something that was made up. It's something that the president said he wanted this done by, but they have been dealing with spending bills for the 2026 appropriation cycle since this time last year. And so they have to go back to the drawing board. They have to rejigger this bill. It's not going to get done right now. And even though President Trump has been on a winning streak politically, he's not getting done what he wants legislatively here on Capitol Hill as they miss that deadline.
You notice the framing there? They said Donald Trump is not getting done what he wants to legislatively. Whose fault is that? Congress. You guys know that 90% of the frustrations with Trump is actually Congress's fault. You got, understand that? Like all this stuff, like Trump's not fulfilling his promises. Trump is accomplishing more than any other president, despite the fact that Congress sucks. And this is the worst Congress as far as working with a president ever. It's so pathetic. It's unbelievable. And they are now just doubling down. Now, this is going to bite them. This is the worst people on Capitol Hill, the Senate. Okay. The House is bad. Don't get me wrong. And there's some horrible people in the House, but the Senate is the worst. They are where the true House of Lords in America reside, the true deep staters in America, the ones that really entrench themselves because they get 6 years and they hold power forever, and you're not supposed to mess with them. And they have this rule, even with Trump, that, play ball with us and we'll give you some things, we'll give you some things. They got scared after the last election because Trump won so overwhelmingly that they passed the one big, beautiful bill. They figured they could wait it out, that it wouldn't be too overwhelming. They would get, they'd be able to survive it. It was their thought. And then what did they do? They've basically hunkered down ever since. In fact, this is so fraudulent right now that they are taking this recess, and yet Thune is making senators come back every 3 days to bang the gavel to say they're still in session so that Trump cannot appoint any recess appointments. Again, these are the worst people in America, and as far as our government is concerned. They are awful. And John Thune signed off on this, and this is his idea, and he's so mad about Cornyn especially. But what does it mean? Guys, you cross Trump, it's going to come back to you. Remember back in the first term, the Senate, they showed their faces a couple times. They really showed who they were after January 6th. That is when they tried to impeach Trump for that one, and they almost got it through. In fact, something like 37 senators were the only reason it didn't get passed. You need 66 votes to, or 67 votes to actually convict a president on impeachment. They barely cleared that. Barely held on, and thank God they did, because then Trump would not have been able to be eligible to be president in 2024. They almost did it. And what has happened since then? Trump weeded most of those out, and he's still been weeding them out. In fact, I believe there's only 1 or 2 left that voted against Trump in that impeachment. But that was the last time they truly showed their faces, because Trump has just been gaining in power since then, and he continues to show the hold he's got on the base is only growing. That's what we've just learned in the last couple of weeks with the Indiana midterms primaries, and now with the ones that just happened this week, especially in Kentucky and Georgia and Louisiana for Cassidy. So Trump is showing he's the man, and they hate it. And so what they think they're going to pull off here, see, the story right now In fact, this story is being perpetrated. Let me keep moving here. So this is Tom Tillis today, a GOP senator, came out and said, our majority is melting down before our eyes. Many R's believe Trump has brought this upon himself, creating more free agents out of a selfish desire to purge Republicans not seen as loyal enough. Now, it's greatly believed this is coming from Tom Tillis, who Trump has chased out. And Tillis, knowing he would get slammed in North Carolina's primary, just bowed out. And so now they've got Michael Whatley running in North Carolina in his place, but he didn't want to even put up the fight. He's just going bye-bye. But he's been one of those obstructing. Now, Seth Keshel mocks him and says, we're really not going to pass the Save America Act now. And what's so funny about this, guys, is that we have a Congress already doing nothing, and their whole fight against Trump is like, well, now we're really not going to do nothing. Or do anything. And that's just hilarious. It's not like you guys were being effective in the first place. So, this really doesn't matter much to us. Now, we do have people like Tim Burchett who are out there saying the truth because they're extremely frustrated by all this. And listen to this. This is great.
Mr. Chairman, could I say something at this point, or do I need to wait?
Yeah, you can go ahead. I'll yield to you.
Okay. I realize what's going on here, and I realize that, when you're not sitting at the table, that you're not heard, and I realize the deal has already been cut. But I want to warn our party. We're in the majority, and we're not acting like it. And we'll be in the minority once again because of this kind of activity. And I'm disgusted that both sides of the aisle, that we're not allowed to, deals have been cut. And I think that's wrong. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So we have people like Burchett starting to speak out. And that's good because courage begets courage, correct? And so if Burchett's speaking out and others speak out, the others should rise up. There is going to be a reckoning in the Republican Party. It's been long overdue. And what has been happening is that for the last 10 years, Trump's just been picking them off. Okay, he's been picking them off, putting more and more on blast. Like every primary, we put up a few more MAGA-ites. But Trump, being the ultimate deal maker, he keeps giving them chances. It's like, okay, you didn't lose the last cycle. I'll give you a chance to play ball. But this time they wouldn't play ball, even with the Save America Act, even with the amazing deal him and Ken Paxton offered John Thune that Paxton himself tweeted out, I will drop out if you pass the Save America Act. I will drop out. And Trump was like, I will endorse Cornyn if you pass the Save America Act. Trump was willing to cut the deal. They still dug their heels in. And this is what they get. Now, again, you cross Trump, you're going to be the ones who end up losing. And so they are freaking out about this. And this new narrative is starting to be pushed right here. And here's a perfect example of it. It says, one understated reality of what Trump's done. He basically just nuked his Senate majority for the next 6 months. You see the wording here? That he nuked it? No, he didn't. They're choosing this. See, this is the kind of victim mentality nonsense BS that is always a psyop, that is always used to just remove all responsibility and make it about Trump. People do this all the time in their personal lives, but in politics, they always make it about Trump. We're the victims. Trump doesn't know how to play ball. He didn't nuke anything. They weren't doing anything, and so he was like, I'll find people who will. So currently Republicans have 53-47. Tillis retiring. Already acting like an independent. Cassidy has no reason to play ball. Murkowski and Collins have always broken with him. Cornyn will have to navigate runoff, but he's going to lose, and then he'll do whatever he wants. And now it says it's basically a 48-47 majority with 5 live swing votes. Yeah, it is. And I guarantee you they're not going to get a whole lot done in the next few months, which is basically means we're exactly where we already were. However, it also means you have candidates now who will fire up the base for the midterms, who have a much better chance of being elected, and then we'll have a better Senate afterwards. We'll have a more MAGA Senate run by the actual people who wanted these people and not the old clingers on from the old establishment wing. Murkowski is likely gone. Collins may lose in Maine, but to a Democrat. which we'd still rather have Collins than a Democrat. But hey, if she's purged, she's purged. And it's all because you're not playing ball. See, Trump always has the pulse on the people better than the Senate. So they're wanting to play this game, but it's going to backfire on them. But this is the new psyop or narrative being spun by the Republicans that Trump is destroying the party. Oh, boo-hoo. He's destroying the pathetic party that never got anything done. He's destroying the George Bush party that lost us trillions of dollars in foreign wars and never got anything accomplished, that crushed our economy. He's losing the weak, pathetic Republicans who could not stop much from Barack Obama. Boo-hoo. We're not going to miss you. And so them freaking out like this, though, tells you a few things. And Tom Luongo paints it perfectly right here. It says, you should ask yourself why that is. Here's a couple thoughts. These people were never MAGA. They were never going to be MAGA. And the big one, Trump doesn't care about the legislature at this point. Well, he's absolutely right. He doesn't care about whether or not they stay. And Trump also is saying, I'm willing to blow things up, even if it does cost me the midterms, even if it is a temporary hit. This also tells you that Trump understands he's playing the long game. See, we've been told that the midterms are the end-all be-all of everything. We have been. And this is from people like Rich Barris and Robert Barnes and Steve Bannon. And they are just painting this narrative that if we lose the midterms, it's all over for Trump. But it's not. And I've told you guys this several times. It would suck. It would be a temporary setback. It'll slow him down a little bit. But here's the deal. If the House impeaches him, it'll never get convicted in the Senate. So it'll just be a waste of time. And yeah, it'll slow things down. They can't stop it. They can't stop the Justice Department. They can't stop his control over the military. The executive branch has extreme powers that will not be stopped. It won't be stopped by the Senate or the House, especially if the Supreme Court remains the same, and they will, because the Supreme Court has already granted the executive power much more power in the last couple of years, reaffirming what Trump does all the time. And this is why Trump always plays ball with the legal system, because then the Supreme Court backs it up. And once the Supreme Court backs you up, Congress can't do anything. Now, I would rather hold the midterms, and we all need to go vote. And I think actually at this point, we're going to win the midterms. In fact, I think we're going to win the House with some gains. And the Senate, I think we'll win. We'll either get the 50 or 51 needed to keep control. I really do believe that at this point. But assuming we don't, it's not the end of the world. So go out, make sure you vote, make sure it happens. But again, Trump is telling us that the bigger picture is actually cleansing these people, because in 2028, see, he's still going to be the executive. He's still going to have oversight over the elections. He's still going to, like I said, controlling the Justice Department, military are a big deal, guys. He'll still have oversight over the 2028 elections. The states are getting redder all the time. They will continue to redistrict. 2028, even if Democrats win the midterms, 2028 will be a landslide for Republicans. I'm telling you right now, just mark it down. I'm pretty much guaranteeing it. You can't guarantee these things because something could always happen we don't anticipate. That's nuclear bomb level in politics, but I'm not anticipating that, and so in the meantime. But meanwhile, things just keep getting worse for the Democrats, and this is why I'm just not scared. On top of the redistricting wins, on top of the Senate throwing a little baby tantrum, the Democrats, things just keep getting worse. And so this autopsy has now come out, and that it's a total joke. It's an absolute joke. And the Democrats are actually freaking out about this because this was supposed to give them guidance into what happens next. And they're very angry at the fact that the DNC wasted all this money on this report, and now they have nothing to offer as a result. In fact, this joke of a report said these are the reasons why Democrats lost in 2024. It says the Biden operation neglected Harris, which is simply not true. A failure to define Trump. You really think after 8-10 years of defining Trump, they failed that? Harris and her campaign took too much for granted. That's a nothing burger. Trump's transgender ad was very damaging. Well, that's true, but still doesn't give the Democrats anything to work with. Shift away from identity politics toward middle-class appeal. Okay, but still very broad. Republicans are just better at politics. What a joke. And then Harris at least helped other Democrats more than Biden. So, okay, a little cope. And Democrats need to spend earlier. Well, that's kind of hard when the DNC is in more debt than cash that it has on hand and is basically 10 times less money on hand than the RNC. The joke at hand, this report came out. There's spelling gaps in it. It was some people think it was just generated by AI. It was just a copy of another report. And so Democrats are scrambling because their approval right now is at all-time lows. 20% according to Quinnipiac, 16% among men. They're not getting any ground. And they were hopeful that they were going to have a message to go forward or a plan to go forward, and they don't. They're still stuck on anti-Trump. And what this is revealing is how the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, that's responsible for getting all this together and raising all this money, that they're a bunch of jokes right now. The guy they put in charge is a failure. And so the Democrats quietly right now are in major panic. This report, while it seems kind of like a nothing burger to many of us, this has all of Democrats in D.C. in a panic right now. They actually thought something was going to come of this that could help them. But here's one thing that it does show for everybody who's been blackpilling lately. 2009 to 2025. This is, like I've told you guys before, how Barack Obama was lazy and didn't build up his party. Well, look at this. From the time Barack Obama was seated, they had 60 senators, and now they have 47. They've lost 13 senators in the last 16 years. Congress, Barack Obama came in with 256 Democrats. That's now down to 215, plus 41 for Republicans. Governors, they had the governors of states 28 to 22. It's now 23 to 27, plus 5 Republicans. State legislatures, here is the crazy part, because the state legislatures are where you build up your base. You start building up people who will eventually become senators and House members and governors and presidents. Well, the state legislatures, they've lost 832 seats to Republicans in the last 16 years. Almost 1,000. Guys, the Democratic Party has been dying since Obama got in. Their high point was 2008, and it's been a slow drag ever since then. And then you have the state trifectas, which means having all three, the Senate, the House, and the governorship of states. They had 17 full states controlled, and 23 were split. They still have 17 today, but the Republicans now have 22 with only 10 split up, 10 purple states. So guys, again, people blackpill at me all the time as if we're losing. Here's the deal. We were slowly winning. The change had already started before Trump. Trump is just lit the fire to it and gave us a vision of how to keep building it. And this is only going to get worse for them moving forward. As the primaries are showing you, as the state legislatures are showing you, that is always the canary in the coal mine for how things will go in up to the higher levels. We have the redistricting going to keep continuing for the next couple of years, thanks to the Voting Rights Act being shut down. We have the mail-in ballots about to be cleaned up by Supreme Court. And we also have the demographic shift that's going to occur because of the 2030 census. Once that happens, guys, these numbers are going to be much, much worse for Democrats. But here's the other thing. These numbers, even though they say Republican, yeah, there's still a lot of RINOs in there. But that's what Trump is doing right now in the primaries, cleaning that up. So not only will this be much more Republican 2028, 2030 and beyond, we're talking generational change here, it will be MAGA Republicans in many ways. Now, they want us to still believe we're losing. And here's a perfect example of how rigged the polls are right now. And remember, polls are more rigged the further out you are from an election, because they're painting a narrative to scare you, to discourage you, to demoralize you. As an election gets closer, the polls get a little bit better because they have to save face. Remember, when the actual election occurs, the polls have to save face a little bit so that they retain at least a little bit of validity. So people actually still think maybe they were right. They were just barely off. Well, here's a great example of how bad our polls are right now and how much they're pushing this Democratic frame. Here is Mike Collins' race of 2020. Okay. This is what was projected. See all the blue? The closest poll was +1. And then the final results, he won by 9 points. 9 points. So the closest poll was 10 off. Just a friendly reminder that House and Senate polls are way worse than presidential polls, but even those are rigged. But here's the reason polls matter, okay? Polls are used to create narratives. They're used to create narratives, and even though they're all rigged, they still show you trends. Trends matter. Here's Seth Keshel, the best election analyst out there, talking about this poll, this push they're making for Texas. It says this poll is so crooked, I can't even believe it was published. Abbott regular goes within a few points of Harris County, even won it once. He's a solid bet for 45 plus Latino vote. But they're trying to convince you that Tallarico is somehow 32 points ahead of Paxton. That's just absolutely hilarious. Unseen here writes it really well. He says, I'm going to explain as simply as I can for those who still don't understand. You don't get the results you got in Indiana, Louisiana, Kentucky with a sitting president in the low 30s approval. Therefore, polls are fake. The reality shows Trump's approval is very high. What the final number is, no one knows because polls are so fake, but it's certainly not in the 30s. Results tell you that in flashing neon letters. Everyone in power believe the polls should immediately do a gut check, change course because immediate siren polls are driving you all into the rocks. This is what the Republicans, this is why they left the Senate today, because they believe their own noise. You see, Washington, D.C. is one of the biggest bubbles that exists. It's 93% Democrat, and everybody there, eats their own BS. It's all Washington Post, Washington Times. I mean, it's all Beltway news. It's all like they all just talk to each other. It's very incestuous, and they actually believe polls and stuff. They do. It's really ridiculous. You would think they'd be smarter than that, but they just aren't. So they thought that by staging this walkout mutiny against the president, that somehow it's going to be good for them because Trump, his approval polls are so low. And I listened to a lot of the shows, and everybody's buying this. Everybody, even the reporters who are, usually generally fair, like, a little bit in that in-between fairness area, still slightly lean left half the time or slightly lean like neocon right, but they try to be fair. Even they're all buying the polls, despite the fact Trump's just cleaning up the primaries, which means the Republicans on the Hill are buying it too. Now, Brian Cates does an excellent breakdown on this because this is what's really going on here. All right, behind the scenes. Where was Obama during Trump's first term? See, we have a shadow government going on that is scrambling to hold any power left. That shadow government, which is, Democrats and deep state, is Barack Obama still their leader here in the U.S. The RINO Republicans, they're not like taking calls from Obama, but they still get paid by a lot of the same people. They still play the game. It's kind of like an uneasy alliance. We get some, you get some, go back and forth. But Obama is still trying to make moves here. And it's just a reminder that what we see on the surface is usually not real. And this is one of the things I constantly keep trying to hammer home for people and why we break narratives here on American Fire. That's a main point of my show, is to show you guys what's really going on and why Trump does a lot of the things he does that aren't traditional Republican moves or aren't traditional presidential moves. It's because he knows what he's really dealing with. And that's this shadow government. Where was Obama during Trump's first term? How many times did he shadow Trump? Trump was never really the president in the first term of the shadow government. Obama's still the real president. In other words, every time Trump did foreign trips in his first term. Obama was close behind. He would go and meet with these leaders as well. Just like now, he went last week to Mark Carney, talking to the deep state globalist cabal types, the City of London types. Carney is one of the biggest ones of them. He's still making these trips. However, the deals Trump's signing in the Middle East, the deals he's like visiting China, visiting with Putin, these are all signs that shadow governments coming out of the EU, coming out of the City of London, that they are much weaker now. And Trump is building new alliances as these countries become more sovereign, and it's breaking the narratives from the shadow government. So it has much less power now, and that's why we don't see Obama running around as much. He just doesn't have as many people to talk to. He doesn't have as much control in these. But this is still what's happening, and this is why they're panicking, folks. When the Republicans are coming out this strongly against Donald Trump, it's because it is full panic now. We are at full-on panic. That's where we're at, and they are running these primaries. They thought Trump was dead in the water. They thought MAGA, they successfully divided us by using the influencers, by pushing out all these narratives, especially after Iran. They thought, we got him. We can use this anti-war narrative to destroy MAGA. Didn't work. They thought we could use Epstein files to destroy MAGA. Didn't work. We could use Israel to destroy MAGA. Didn't work. All this stuff, and they're scrambling now because Trump just eradicated them in the primaries. 37-0 this last week. It's MAGA, 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 completely new government that is happening on both sides because the Democrats are getting weaker and weaker, and the RINO Republicans are getting replaced. This is the end of the deep state in America that Trump is doing, and the panic is here. It is overwhelming. It's more than it's ever been. And that's they tell us by their actions. It says Obama was still the real president as far as the organized crime front cleverly disguised the executive branch agencies of the U.S. government was concerned. You think James Comey ever really considered Trump as president? That any of the shadow government organized crime front people embedded at the DOJ, FBI, CIA, DNI, DOE, State Department, HHS ever considered Trump their president? We all know this isn't true. Who are they following then? Who are they loyal to? Now Trump's back. You notice all the strange places where this gay blah, blah. Turns out, I can't say that on YouTube. He's doing it again. Why is he shadowing Trump and his team again? And that's what we're seeing with Obama going out to Canada. So Trump, after the Republicans stormed out today and Tillis gave those comments, he gave us a little glimpse of what he's doing. He says, people don't remember Tillis, weak and effective senator from great state of North Carolina, state I won, didn't have the courage to fight out in the Senate, remain in place, and run again for office, a thing he desperately wanted to do. I called him nitpicker, always fighting against the Republican Party and me, mostly on things that didn't matter. When I told him I would not under any circumstances endorse him, too much work and drama, he couldn't have won anyways, he immediately quit and publicly announced he was going to retire. I said, wow, great news, that was easy. Media said how brave he was to take me on. You notice how the media always does that with anybody who crosses Trump? Massie, Tillis, Cassidy. You fight Trump, you become glorified in the media. Just like John McCain used to be glorified in the media as a Republican. That tells you kind of all you need to know, right? He was the opposite. He was a quitter. Now he can have all the fun he wants for a few months with some of his RINO friends, screwing the Republican Party. In the end, it will get bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. What did Trump just put out there? This isn't a message to Tom Tillis. This is a message to all the Republicans who just quit, went home. Says he can have all the fun he wants for a few months. In other words, you guys do whatever you want. I'm not worried about it. Go ham, go crazy. See what you can do. This is a message. In the end, our party will get bigger, better, and stronger than ever before, which he's absolutely right. We see the trend heading in that direction. The replacement is coming is what he's saying. He's saying, do whatever you want. I will use it all against you. I will use it all against you, and I will remake this party in my image, and you guys are totally screwed. And by the way, you guys with this huge narrative right now that Trump's costing us the midterms, which is what they're pushing, Tom Tillis is pushing, they want Trump. They want the people to turn on Trump, believing that he's going to ruin this government for us that we voted for. Meanwhile, they're the ones in trouble, and they're the ones trying to lose the midterms. Now, this is important. Right now, the Republicans backing out right now, refusing to fund DHS, refusing to fund the Border Patrol. They're showing us that they are throwing the midterms. They're trying to. But good luck, because the midterms are ultimately voted in the states, and the state legislatures are mostly on Trump's side, as this proves. The Republicans, the RINOs, are going to have a very hard time actually throwing the midterms. This is the forecast. We are now up to 215 safe seats. That means we only need to win. What is this? We only need to win 3 of 14 toss-ups to now hold the House. Do you know what the odds of holding 3 of 14 toss-ups are? Well over 90%. So you could put it in that we basically have a 90-95% chance now of winning the House. And that's right now where Iran's being drawn out, gas prices are high, and we haven't had any celebration yet of our 250th. We haven't seen the full effects of the One Big Beautiful Bill yet. Just wait, guys. This is going to turn fast. And Trump pulls off this miracle, holds the House and the Senate. They will have nothing left as a narrative for Trump being bad for the party. Even if Democrats take it, I've already told you guys how we'll hold out. 2028 will be the next referendum, and we'll win that one. That one I feel like is almost a lock. But this one's getting closer to a lock too. As always, Trump's push on redistricting and going after these primarying these RINOs, guys, it's proving to be the right gut move, the right choice. As always, Trump has the best political instincts of anyone I've ever seen. That hasn't stopped. And I feel better and better about the midterms than I ever have before, especially because this is going to be mostly MAGA Republicans now, thanks to what Trump's doing. So it's only going to get better, guys, but City of London is quaking right now. The deep state is quaking. And the RINOs going home, having their little crybaby party is proof of it. All right. Let's take a break. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Oh, man, we got a lot coming up. So first, we're going to go over the latest on Iran. But then, guys, we have the Alex Jones, Marjorie Taylor Greene freak out we're going to cover. We have the insane Candace Owens Hunter Biden interview where Candace Owens goes full on embracing Hunter Biden's insanity. Trying to use him now as a valid person to criticize Trump. We have the major increase of the Jews psyop they're pushing, and so much more. So you're not going to want to leave. But let me take a minute, get into the chat, get a sip of my drink, and we'll get into it. So, good stuff. All righty, let me see. Let me make sure I don't miss anybody who tried to tag me or anything. Oh, did we have a troll? We got our first troll that went bye-bye. That's always fun. Good job, mods. Way to keep the chat in a good, clean place. Excuse me. Hold on. I am 90% better, guys, so your prayers are working. I appreciate it, but the gunk is still coming up. It's still coming up. I did see some people are asking about J.D. Vance being head of the Senate. It is true that the Senate is the vice president is technically head of the Senate. That is absolutely true. For decades now, the Senate has created their own rules that have been abided by, where they choose their own leader. And in the meantime, Trump has been going along with that. Could we get rid of Thune at some point? Could Trump put J.D. Vance in charge? Yes. Why hasn't he? The only thing I can think of is that Trump has not seen it as useful right now because there's so many senators who are still RINOs, who are still, wishy-washy types, that if he made that move, he would lose even more votes. And so JD would be basically in charge of a Senate that still couldn't get anything done because you still need the 50 votes. That's why I don't believe Trump's using that card right now, because it just ultimately wouldn't do anything. Next Senate, though, after the midterms, that might be where Trump finally pulls out and puts JD in charge of the Senate. So just remember, a lot of times Trump doesn't do something because even though it might be fun, it might be exciting, it ultimately he knows it's not going to produce the results we would hope it would. And that's why Trump holds back many, many times on things he could do. Remember, guys, trust Trump is the best advice I can give anybody following politics and where we're going right now. He has way more information than any of us. All right. Way more than any of us. Okay. Let me check in on a couple other things. Grifter Report's coming, Taya. It's going to be huge today. We got the Grifter Report today has 3 major segments, so it's going to be massive. Rocco says no real MAGA conservative would turn on Trump. They were never MAGA. 100%. Was hoping RFK Jr. would ban drug advertising. Here's the deal with that. He can't. They can't just do it. It's got to be there. It's a free speech issue ultimately in America. Is what do you pay? So they have to find all the legal ways they could get around it. Okay, and they're trust me, they're looking into it. They're definitely looking into it. Let's see. Justomimo says, we the people, North President Trump support from Ontario. God, Carney must go. I have to come here, Promethean, for hopes and facts. Thank you, USA. You're welcome, sir. And praying for you guys up there in the north that it gets better. You know, Alberta voting to go independent would be a huge move to getting Canada back on track, because it would just be such a massive shot across the bow. Jay's asking me about the mask guy on Fox. Yeah, let's look at this for a second, shall we? I was going to bring this up later, but we might as well do it now because I don't have a segment for it. Did you guys see this guy talking? So there's this thing going on X right now because this guy was on Fox. This is him normally speaking.
Of Iran, and that's still happening. So that's
his normal
something
face.
That would remain number one in my priority list. If we can make sure they
you can see he's pretty wrinkled and stuff. And this is him on Fox the other day. Him, quote unquote. The smoother face, and then look at this mask like looking thing here.
Sort of the real objective here. The president has time
look
on
how
his
it bounces
hands.
off his neck.
That
is
controls
clearly a
the
shadow
narrative.
from a
he
disconnect.
Controls the strike capabilities, and he knows
And the voice
that
is
the
even a little bit
policy
different.
he set with the blockade has had short-term and long-term effects.
That's crazy. You know, look, there's a lot of stuff out there that well, Star Child, you say he thinks he looks like that. Look at that. Look at the difference in skin color. Look how it's hanging off loosely. I don't think that's a shadow of the chin, guys. I'm sorry. I just don't. Look at this as him normally. I know it's different lighting.
Can't project power. Then we have all the time in the world to go in and take out their
dude, I'm sorry. His face is more wrinkly.
Focus on the IRGC, focus on the nuclear power. But
is it possible? Is it possible that they ran a filter on him and it did something weird? Yes, anything's possible.
It really is capitulation.
But dude, listen, guys, I do lighting. Okay, I'm in marketing.
Weapon. You will
all right,
not have the
or I was in
surrender
marketing.
That.
I've done video content since I was 20 years old. I have never seen a shadow like that on somebody's neck. It's right across, like straight across like that. And it looks like it's hanging. I'm not saying anything's 100%. I'm not saying it's 100%, but I am saying to me, that looks pretty obvious. I mean, look at how it shifts just in slow motion. Dude, why would that shadow just hold like that unless it's a dangling mask? I'm sorry. That is insane. That is insane. Like, shadows move. And also, the lighting right here, you can see it's straight on. Okay? It's straight on. It's not hanging down. If it was hanging down, the shadow would be directly under his chin. All right? Like me. Like, okay, look at my lighting. You see how the shadow, chin? The shadow doesn't pull right here, guys. It doesn't pull right here. You know how hard it is to get a shadow there? You know how hard that is to do? I'm sorry. Everybody's saying it's a shadow. That's nonsense. It just can't be a shadow. What it can be, though, is if they did run a filter over him to, like, make him look a little younger because, you know, he's old and they want you to look good on TV. That's possible. But there's just no way in hell that's a shadow. I'm sorry. There's just no way. I'm sorry. You don't get a shadow right there, especially when his neck looks like this normally. All right. See, the shadows are under the chin. That's normal shadow. All right. So I'm just telling you guys. Also, listen to the voice. Listen to how much gravelier he is here.
And that's still happening. So that's something that would remain number one in my priority list. If we can make sure they can't project power, then we have all the...
You hear how, like, gravelly his voice is? Now, maybe he had a cold or something. But then listen to this.
The president has time on his hands. He's controls the narrative.
It's not the same voice.
The strike capabilities.
It's not the same voice.
He knows that the policy he set with the blockade.
Now, could it be he was sick here? Could it be a filter? Yes, I'm open to all these interpretations, okay? But it's not just, you cannot play this off as just a shadow that from the lighting. I'm sorry, that's not true. I've worked with this stuff forever, guys. I've done so much video content in my life with so many different people. I mean, it's not a mic. There's no mic, dude. Because why would, look at the flap. Like, it goes loop, loop, like that. A mic would be on the lapel on one side. This shadow is covering this whole, and it looks exactly like a mask. I'm sorry. Could it be AI? Could it be some? I'm not out there saying 100% it's a mask. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying it is very weird. It's very weird. Okay. And these are the fun things sometimes we get into. Jay, I'm glad you brought it up now. It's fun to address. But guys, look, do we know that the CIA uses masks? 100%. They've done it before. It's like sometimes maybe because the guy was sick. I don't know. There's reasons they use it sometimes. And it's not always that they're trying to, push a psyop on us but we know this is true. You guys ever seen the old George Bush clip where he's having a meeting? This is George Bush 1991. He's in a meeting and the person in the meeting with him is wearing a mask and he doesn't know it. And then at the end, they take it off and it's a completely different person. He's like, oh my God. Like, dude, they've been doing this for a long time. I'm just saying this is not new. But as far as this one, could have been a slip up. Is it real? We don't know. I don't know. But it sure is fun. Sure is fun to look at. It definitely is. It is creepy. But this guy was real. I mean, here's the legitimate version. And I'm just saying, like,
time in the world to go in and take.
He's wrinklier here. His face looks smoother here. Look at the eyes, look kind of sunken.
Out there.
I don't know. It's very, it could be a lot of things, but I don't know, but it's fun, right? It's kind of fun sometimes just to be like, huh, that's interesting. That's interesting, So anyways, okay. Let's get into the latest in Iran, and before we get to one of the biggest Grifter reports I've done in a long time, because it's psyop city, baby. It's psyop city. All right. So there's been a lot of talk lately that the deal is finally being reached, And I'm here to tell you that we're not that close on a deal because Iran is not going to give up the uranium. Why? Because City of London can't afford that, and we all can kind of guess why at this point. And I think more and more it's truly looking like Trump wants this uranium, not because they're going to enrich it anymore, because we could stop that. No, because I believe this could trace back to Uranium One, which is Obama and Clinton illegally selling uranium to the Russians, who then got it to Iran. Listen to how Trump just putting his foot down on this uranium stuff.
Can they keep their highly enriched uranium?
No, we get the highly enriched. We will get it. We don't need it. We don't want it. We'll probably destroy it after we get it, but we're not going to let them have it.
Can they keep their highly...
We will get it. We don't want it. We'll maybe destroy it. That's very interesting, just the way he says that. He's trying to make it sound like it's not that big a deal that we get it, but honestly, it is. We all know it is. And remember, it's dust at this point. They know they took a lot of it out. He's been saying, we're watching you with Space Force, which the whole Space Force thing is crazy in and of itself. Now, Rubio came out today and said that we can't have any diplomacy if you guys enact a toll. So this is, again, just another red flag. And what the Trump administration's pretty clearly doing is putting more and more red lines out, because they are, it's all about boxing in the Iranians, because the Iranians right now, they're scrambling because, and City of London does not want that uranium getting out, because it'll trace back to the deep state. It'll be the final nail in the coffin. If they prove that that was from the Uranium One deal, that would be the final nail in the coffin for Clinton and Obama, that nobody could argue at that point that they were treasonous in what they accomplished. So that's a big deal, and they cannot let that go. The other thing they cannot let go is the Strait. They can't, because they need that money. Trillions and trillions of dollars have been made off the Strait because of shipping insurance and the manipulating of the oil prices. This is something the City of London's been behind for a long time. This Lloyd's of London has been insuring the boats going through here for centuries. Over 300 years, Lloyd's of London has been doing shipping insurance, and then they broke their contracts for the first time ever once we attacked Iran. You know, these are the little tells we get, but that money's all being diverted into financial system, UK, and where's Lloyd's of London located? Directly in the actual City of London, which is a square mile inside of London proper. Yeah. The crazy stuff you learn as you start deep diving this stuff. But just like the Vatican is in Rome, the City of London, like this little mile by mile section, which is all financial district, is directly in the middle of the actual London. And it's called City of London. And this is where that EU system, that globalist system, that deep state all stems from. Now, it's no longer just physical because of modern times, digital dollars, all that stuff. It is all based all over Europe, but City of London is their hub. And this, again, guys, this is a red line, and they're saying you guys cannot get the money from Hormuz anymore. It's not happening. Does these keep ramping up? Because this is what Iran keeps coming up with. They keep trying to get Trump. They're trying to test Trump's political willpower here, okay? Because the Iran war is the one thing hurting Trump's political power right now. It's the one knock on him, because there's a lot of people who don't want to be involved in this, and the gas prices are affecting everybody. So that's the only pressure they have been able to get on Trump. And so what they're hoping is they can keep applying that pressure, and they can squeak out a win here and not let Iran be the win Trump wants it to be, to eradicate this deep state globalist system. Trump holding on this. Trump and Rubio are messaging to us, we're not giving an inch. Now, this is interesting today. Trump has decided to let these 5,000 troops go to Poland. Now, what they're not saying here is these are not new troops. These are troops being moved out of Germany. But Poland is one of our only allies over there. And he writes, based on the successful election of President Poland Karol Nawrocki, who I was proud to endorse in our relationship with him, I'm announced the United States will be sending additional 5,000 troops to Poland. Poland has gone full MAGA, make Europe great again, just like Hungary was under Orban. This is Trump rewarding that, because 5,000 troops isn't just protection. It's a major economic advantage. You get all that military spending now there. You get the troops living their personal lives there. They spend in the economy. This helps Poland. And what Trump's showing over and over again is the rearrangement of the world order, pushing over and over again on Europe's economy, on the hubs of that economy, which are UK, France, and Germany, and also Turkey. As he keeps pushing on these things, breaking them economically, they're going to have to cave more. And the countries that play ball get rewarded. Master of the deal, as usual. But for all those scared that Trump's somehow caving into NATO, here's what Rubio had to say about that today.
Pleasure to be here. And it's always great to see you, Mark. And obviously we're here to set the groundwork for what I think will be probably one of the more important leaders summit in the history of NATO. The president's views, frankly, disappointment at some of our NATO allies and their response to our operations in the Middle East are well documented. That will have to be addressed. That won't be solved or addressed today. That's something for the leaders level to discuss. In the meantime, there are other areas where we continue with cooperation. You saw the president's announcement last night with regards to Poland and deployment. That said, obviously the United States continues to have global commitments that it needs to meet in terms of our force deployment, and that constantly requires us to re-examine where we put troops. And this is not a punitive thing. It's just something that's ongoing, and it was pre-existing, all these recent reports and tensions and so forth. So that's a process that will continue, that I think in a very positive and productive way, and collaboration with our allies can reach decisions. But in the end, you know, like any alliance, it has to be good for everyone who's involved. It has to be a clear understanding of what the expectations are. And so certainly we'll try to lay the groundwork for that. One of the areas where I think we definitely can cooperate on.
There's a lot of political speak to tell NATO, guys, we're not playing games with you anymore. President's view is disappointment at some of our NATO allies and their response to the operations in the Middle East, to say the least. But honestly, I don't think Trump's actually disappointed. I think that's all just political speak that they have to say. The real truth is that Trump's delighted that he's exposing them all, and they're doing exactly what he planned them to do. Exactly. Do you actually think Trump expected them to join in on this Iran stuff? No. He knew. They've been fighting him this whole time, ever since the first term. He hasn't given them a chance for NATO to get involved before until this Iran strike. And now this was the one. He played it perfect. I mean, a whole first term. Then you got the Biden years. Biden showing us what the old school was like with NATO. Hey, let's get wars going in Russia, Ukraine. Let's get us all involved. We'll start sending billions and billions of dollars back to you guys. Get that fund going again. Looking for an excuse to get in, which Biden did many times, tried to look for excuses to get troops over to Ukraine. He just couldn't do it because Putin was smart enough to not go after Kiev in the initial attacks. Putin tried to get a peace deal in 2022, and Europe told them not to take it. So you see how they kept playing that game. Trump finally comes in second term. Now that we've got this contrast, Trump first term, Biden term, Trump comes in now as like, finally I'm making some moves. And NATO's not there for us. It gave us plenty of time to see the difference and see the contrast. You see, you have to wake the people up. You have to show them. You can't tell them. You have to show them. You think 10 years ago, even in the Republican Party run by mostly neocons, do you think 10 years ago most Republicans would have been cool with us bad-mouthing NATO? Do you think we would have been cool with putting Europe off to the side, with saying, screw you guys? I know a lot of people would have been. I mean, I would have been. There's a few based conservatives that would have been. Absolutely. But the majority of the Republican Party? No way. No way. They would not have been okay with that. And so Trump now goes after Iran, and it's honestly, the timing was perfect for people to say he shot it off from the gut, just made a rash decision. No, you can look at how it was all built up. Come in last year, knock back their nuclear program just long enough in that 12-day war with one big strike that we did. 12-day war was Israel and Iran. End that. End the fight with Gaza for Israel. Build up, see what Iran's going to do. Give them one shot. They saw our strength. It's like, yeah, you guys can capitulate. You guys can surrender. No, Okay. I'm going to rearrange the world order. As soon as 2026 hits, boom, Venezuela. Let's get Maduro out of there. Let's cut off China, Russia, City of London, deep state hold in Venezuela. And now we can open up that oil, get that to the markets. Now we have more leverage, and then boom, Iran. You can see how it all built up. And it was definitely, I mean, it all makes sense, especially seeing it through this ending the globalist, the Davos control narrative. Now, Trump is getting so much more done as well. Here's Secretary Mullen, our new head of DHS, went to Mexico. Is in Mexico right now. Why would you go to Mexico? Maybe because it's time to end the cartels over there. We're ending the threats to our borders. We're cutting out, the cartels have been used by the deep state to launder money, to traffic. The cartel money that it goes through is laundered through our stock market. It would blow your mind. Some people estimate it at $500 billion a year. This is the end of the cartels will be one of the greatest moments ever, and it'll completely change Mexico. And we can see the push is happening here. So while Trump keeps getting asked about Iran, all this focus is on there, while he's being asked about the midterms, while Republicans are throwing a tantrum, all this is happening in the background. We have the CIA right now in Cuba. We have Mullen in Mexico. Trump's completely rearranging the world order. Mark Mullen today came out and said he might curb international flights to U.S. airports with sanctuary policies. You know what that'll do to their economies? These airports, man, absolutely crush them. It'll also stop, because most of these sanctuary cities run by Democrats. They're launching points for, deep state meetings. This will stop that. They can't directly go in. This is huge. I can't wait to see if he's actually able to pull this off. But this is the kind of thing. The Republicans, they all walked out on Trump. The narratives are ramping up from the influencers. City of London is scrambling right now because these primaries. But we see that the Trump administration is ramping up as well. And this is the powers that the executive branch holds that cannot be stopped by the House and Senate. It cannot be stopped by them unless they all come together and do overwhelming votes that can surpass the president, which isn't going to happen. So this is the kind of stuff, guys. He can still weed out the deep state. He can still bring justice even if we lost the House. This is why I'm not worried about 2028 no matter what happens this year. And finally, Trump says what I've been saying. This is, I believe, a big plan coming into the midterms. Let's let him say it real quick.
That'll end soon, very soon. And when it ends, your gasoline prices will go down lower than they were before. I left Iowa a few months ago, and gasoline was at $1.85 a gallon. And we'll be hitting numbers like that again soon. But we'll be hitting them in a much nicer way, by the way. We will be hitting them, and we will have a country that will not have a nuclear weapon. Yeah, Daniel? That'll end soon.
So there's Trump just basically saying what I've been saying nonstop, is that the whole plan, and listen, I know a lot of people will be like, well, he can't say, how is he going to get gas prices down? Dude, he's done it twice already. The first term and the first year of the second term. Trump knows how to get gas prices down. So we have every reason to believe that he knows exactly what he's talking about here. And once Iran's over, I've been saying it, gas prices, the barrel of oil, once the Strait of Hormuz is fully flowing and Venezuela is more ramped up again, we could see $50 barrel in oil by the end of the year, maybe as low as $40 a barrel. With all the changes that are being made here, the way we're drilling, Trump will make sure that it's profitable so that the oil companies still have to drill. But so he won't let it completely fall out. But the point is it'll get to the point where it'll be right at that edge. And that's really good for us. It'll mean sub $2 gas. And imagine, even if he gets it down to $3.50 a gallon or $3 a gallon by the midterms, and that trend's already started, guys, that's going to be so massive. And I'm telling you, it'll happen faster than they say it will. It's not going to take that long for it to ramp up. So all this is coming together. Trump, to me, still looks like he's got everything in hand. And We just need to pray that they find the way out of this Iran thing very quickly, which, being Memorial Day weekend, 3 days off of the market, do not be surprised if we launch an attack this weekend. I wouldn't be shocked at all. It goes with how Trump likes to do this. He loves to do it on weekends because it gives the markets time to recover afterwards. Because Trump actually does care about people's 401ks and so on and so forth. But we'll see. We'll see. Watching it very carefully as always. But again, once it's over, it's going to be huge as all the chess pieces are being put in place. Okay. You guys ready? Next, we got the Grifter Report. It's going to be massive one as we get into the crazy stuff they're pushing right now, guys. It's insane. It's insane how far they're going now. But first of all, hit the like, hit the subscribe if you don't mind, guys. Show your support for the channel in the free way. The other way to support the channel, if you guys really just love what you're experiencing here in the chat with the best chat online on YouTube, guys, of beautiful people being nice to each other, respectful conversations going on. If you like that and you want more, please consider becoming a member. In the description below on YouTube, you will see a link, and on Rumble, and on the post pinned on the pinned post, on X, there's a link to Patreon. It will give you a free month of membership, an entire month, where you can join the Discord group, get in, become a part of that community, see if you like it there, see if you like all the news nonstop being shared 24/7, the great conversations going on, a lot of people becoming friends. If you like that and you like the extra members content, please consider staying after your month. You can cancel, it won't hurt you, or you could stay and support the channel for a few bucks a month and support the work I'm doing here. Otherwise, you can always send super chats, that sort of thing as well. Some great support to the channel. And if you send a super chat, I'm guaranteed to read your question or comments. All right. Thank you guys for your attention to this matter. But in the meantime, just if you could like, subscribe, and maybe even hype the channel if YouTube gives you the option, that would be awesome. All free options there. Okay, let me see if I missed any tagged comments here before we get on, because the next, get ready to laugh, because Alex Jones, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Candace Owens, they're all doing nonsense stuff. Tucker Carlson. We got a lot to cover coming up, guys. A lot to cover. Let's see here. The blockade stands until the IRGC falls. Yeah, pretty much, or until we blast them into oblivion. That's or until the people rise up. See, we do have options. We have options in Iran. It's keep that blockade going, which is crushing their economy. It's get the people to rise up and overthrow them, or it's just bomb them and absolutely, utterly destroy them, which, is very possible. Let's see here. Dave says an attack rate that right after stock market closes, we be on par with what Trump's done previously, especially since it's a long weekend. Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking, man. Good job. We're on the same course there. Taya says, I thought he pulled troops from Poland last week. No, he never pulled any troops from Poland. They just were holding them up. I think they were waiting to see what happened with the election and making sure they got their guy before they sent the troops back over. Remington asks, what's the logic behind not taking Karg, turning it into a base so we can pull out of the EU? Well, we're not in the EU, so I don't know who we is, but not taking Karg, I don't know why, honestly. A lot of people thought that was going to happen, but Trump decided not to do it. And again, I always just trust Trump. He's just got the best instincts. He proves me right almost every single time. And so if he chose not to do it, there must be some strategic reason they haven't done it. And maybe it's just he doesn't want to put troops on the ground yet, even if it's just a few. So I believe we could hold Karg with just a couple thousand troops, but Trump might be wanting to wait, He might be wanting to wait. All right. Heather says Trump should take the money, and when he's no longer president, give it to people he thinks should get it. He's the one that got screwed by the government. Yeah, you're talking about that. Well, Yeah, you know how much they're fighting over that money right now? How much worse it'd be if Trump had gotten it himself? Yeah, that'd be crazy. Okay, let's get into it. You guys ready for the Grifter Report after I blow my nose? Whoa, hold on a second here. Somebody just wrote that Tulsi Gabbard just resigned. What? Hold on. We might have breaking news here. That would be crazy. I am not seeing anything. The Blaze is reporting it. Okay. Blaze reports this 16 seconds ago. Tulsi Gabbard resigned. So Fox News is reporting it as well. This is very interesting. Very interesting. Okay. So Fox News is reporting it, which means it's probably true because Fox would get confirmation from the actual Trump. Let's go over to Fox. Let's see what's going on here. This is crazy news, guys, if true. It says her husband's battling bone cancer. Oh, God. Okay, you guys don't like my ad blocker. Hold on a second. All right. Gabbard notified Trump during a meeting Oval Office Friday. Her last date ODNI is June 30th. Okay, so she's not leaving on bad terms. She's going to stay another whole month. Deeply grateful for trust you placed in me, opportunity to lead the ODNI. I must submit my resignation. My husband, Abraham, has been diagnosed with extremely rare form of bone cancer. Wow. That's terrible. All right. Well, they're going to spin this in so many ways, but sometimes it is what it seems like it is on the front. We'll have to watch carefully, guys, and see if this turns out to be the real reason or not. We'll know soon. If she goes out well, and we get reports of his cancer and stuff, then we know it actually could be this. This is very sad for the Trump administration. But obviously we want to pray for Tulsi Gabbard and her husband. She's been great. And there's going to be a handoff now. The question is, who's it going to be to? Does he promote Radcliffe again like in the first term? I don't know. This is crazy. But it seems like it's on good terms, so that's good. There's a lot of this, and this is one of those where we have to give it time to know exactly what the real reasons are. And it could be just what it is on its face. But because there has been reports, like Laura Loomer was reporting about over a month ago that Tulsi was going to resign to run for president in 28. When Joe Kent resigned, there was a bunch of push on Tulsi. But the fact that she stayed through all that and is leaving this way, I don't know. I'm going to take it at face value until proven otherwise. That's how I'm going to look at it. Now, if she decides if we do see Tulsi start running in 28 or something, then we'll know that this was not good. But the fact that she's going out like this and she's not terminated, it wasn't from Trump. This tells me that it's on good terms and likely is the reason she states. That's terrible though. Tulsi was great. And hopefully this doesn't set back in the investigations. Hopefully it's a clean handoff. I had a couple super chats come in. Let me read these before we go to the next segment. Ministry of Wrong Think says $5 donation. Thank you, sir. Says there's no real reason to hold Karg, in my opinion. They can't do anything with it anyways. All it would do is give Iran a tangible U.S. base they could hit. That's a good point. I think I definitely could see that. Remington in Oklahoma says gas is $3.75 today. Well, that's better than here. I think it's $4.09 here. So Oklahoma, man, you guys thrive on the cheap gas. I'm a little jealous. little jealous. Thank you guys for the support of the channel. Let's see. Tulsi was buddy with Kent. Do we know that for sure, though? See, that's what was reported, but we don't know that for sure. Blaine Holt for ODNI. I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, a lot of people are saying they don't trust Flynn. I don't trust Flynn either. Jay Tyrus says losing Tulsi is like losing the Niners losing George Kittle for the season. I mean, I agree, man, but also like losing George, we can still win. That's terrible. Ministry of Wrong Thing with another $5 donation says Tulsi's exit is genuinely concerning. Deep State really wanted her gone. That smells fishy. Well, yes. Let me say this. Anything that like this that happens right now is going to seem fishy. Okay? All of it. Doesn't matter what, like who steps down, anything. And we got to remember, guys, these people are under incredible pressure. Tulsi's been living on a military base because of the pressure on her. All right. The death threats and all that. So we also have to understand these people are human. Okay. Things happen. And if her husband if it's true that he has bone cancer and it's progressing, it makes all the sense in the world for her to step down. She doesn't want to stay on a military base during that. She wants to live out the rest of her life with her husband and see what happens. Now, you can throw all the conspiracies at me, and I'm like, I hear you. It's possible. It's possible he's poisoned. It's possible, there's an op going on. All of it's possible. But you got to remember too, guys, sometimes people are just people. And there is real things that happen to people. There just is. It's like JD Vance having another baby. He might actually not run for president now as a result. And that's a person being a person. And we want real people in charge, don't we? So we'll see what happens, but here's the deal. I think Tulsi is legit. I think Tulsi's legit. And so I'm going to lean this. To me, the way it happened, see, if Joe Kent and Tulsi, if Tulsi goes on Tucker tomorrow and all of a sudden she's like railing against Israel, then yeah, this is an op. Okay. We're going to see, we're going to see what, how this plays out. But if Tulsi stays in the shadows, if she really is just with her husband, we'll know it's legit. Okay. So we'll see how it goes. But I've never seen anything from Tulsi as much as like Laura Loomer hates her, which, Loomer does some great reporting on stuff. And then she also says sometimes complete nonsense things when she's mad at people. So, Loomer, like she thinks she has a little more power than she does, and she tries to wield that power sometimes. So we'll see how this goes down. This is one of those we just have to watch carefully, the repercussions. And what Tulsi does after she steps down after June 30th, that'll tell us a lot. But as for now, Tulsi's entire history is being a stand-up person. I mean, think about it, guys. She was chair of the DNC or co-chair of the DNC. And they, in other words, she was high-powered in the Democratic Party, and they kicked her out. And because she wouldn't change her principles for them. Trump trusted her with all the foreign intelligence. I mean, she's director of national intelligence. She's the head she's over the CIA, over the NSA. You don't put somebody you don't trust in that position. And after 4 years being out of government and Trump seeing everybody who betrayed him, like Tulsi can't run as a Democrat. They'll never accept her after serving with Trump. If she runs for president against, Rubio or Vance, she would not have a chance in hell. So none of this makes sense. Okay. And you got to go where it makes sense. So, I didn't say I think it's 100% fatal. I didn't say that, but we don't know how progressive this is. We don't know anything. So let's just, for now, we'll pray for Tulsi and her husband and just hope that this doesn't turn out to be anything. And it just is what it is on its face. And this is the thing, guys. I know that we've been in a season. Excuse me. I know we've been in a season where a lot of conspiracies have been proven true. And we've seen that over and over again. And we know there's nonstop psyops. All of that is true. But there's still real people involved who have real problems and real life occurrences that happen. And anybody who goes so conspiracy where they think everything's a conspiracy, you can't trust people like that because they just can't see what's actual real, because sometimes this is real. So we'll see how it goes. But if it is bone cancer, that's terrible and horrific stuff. And I got to tell you, if like Loomer's reporting was true, that Tulsi was against the administration and that she was more with Joe Kent and all that, if all that were true, then Trump would not let her stay through June 30th. This would be immediately gone. Okay, so there's that. So just remember that. Like she's staying long enough to do a real transition. Okay. And Lisa asks, what's the thoughts on the rate of her office? We got a lot of mixed reports on that. The ODNI, the official spokesperson, said it wasn't a raid. And the only people who reported it were the whistleblower guy who didn't actually say it was a raid. He said that the CIA took documents, and then Anna Paulina Luna came out and said there was a raid, and she made a big huff about it. And then she backed off after ODNI came out with their statement. So, could have happened, maybe, and they were just trying to cover it, like, because they're dealing with it internally. Or, there's so much we don't know, guys. There's so much we don't know. But, one of the ways to cut through narratives is to look at how stuff's dispersed to us. This came through Fox News, which when Fox News breaks these bombshells about the Trump administration, they're always true because Fox News actually contacts the White House. And I'm not saying everything Fox reports is true. I'm just saying these bombshells. The fact that Trump's allowing her to stay to transition means he's not pushing her out quick. Well, yeah, the timing's weird, but it could just be that the timing would always have been weird the entire administration. You understand? Timing, as long as Trump's president, the timing's going to seem weird. I'm just saying, you guys got to understand, sometimes stuff happens. And sometimes it is the worst timing. I don't know. You guys live your life. Was it the best timing for me if my kids get sick? No. Is it the best timing for me when my wife needs me to take her to an appointment? No. Sometimes stuff just happens. Was it the best timing for me this week when I had to take my dog to the vet? No. Sometimes timing is it's just life. But anyways, for now, we'll pray for Tulsi and we'll watch very carefully. And trust me, if it gets to the point where Tulsi's doing the podcast circuit and she's on The View with Marjorie Taylor Greene, you better believe I will be the first to call Tulsi out. I'll be the first to say she's a fraud. If she starts running in 2028 and building up momentum to run for president, I will call her out. So we'll go there. But for now, there's just nothing here that looks suspicious other than the timing. But timing doesn't, cancer's never good time, So what this tells us is that she's got a husband and things happen. That's what it tells us. And for now, that's all we got. All right, let's move forward. That's crazy though. So God bless you, Tulsi. Hope your husband gets better. And pray that we get an awesome person into ODNI to take over for her. So, all right, we're moving on to the next segment. Speaking of conspiracies and psyops. Woo! Okay, so the Massie crash out continues, guys. They are going further and further down the rabbit hole because they are so mad. They have gotten their marching orders. It is time to go all out on Donald Trump. We cannot hold back. We're going to get crazier and crazier because we have no influence, and we got to try to find out if we can get some. Maybe one of these stories will stick. Well, yesterday, Alex Jones had Marjorie Taylor Greene on and making this statement. We just watched Thomas Massie's election rigged and stolen. I'll say it. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene joins millions of Americans in questioning Ed Gowring's AIPAC-funded primary victory in Kentucky. I know what I saw happen, and I think the country knows what I saw too. Yeah, okay, Marjorie. I chose to give her that beautiful face right there so you guys could get a good look at her. But he had her say it like right here, exclusive, MTG raised the alarm. America's occupied by a foreign country. Yeah, well, if we were, it wouldn't be Israel. This is, they're getting crazier and crazier as they come out with this. So let's look at the actual claims, shall we? Because this is being pushed. This whole like Thomas Massie, it was stolen and AIPAC bought it off and blah, 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 blah. The problem is none of it holds up once you look at it. So the 40,000 votes coming out of nowhere for Ed Galrain. Well, let's look at this here. Here's the actual, and they shared this graphic, which I don't have it on hand. Sorry, guys. But there's this graphic Alex Jones is circulating around that says that it's a 280 to 1 chance that this could happen or something crazy like that. And he just cites no actual statistics. He just put it all together with these numbers. So Ed got 57,000, Thomas 47,000, total votes 105,000. So here's a little history for you guys. Thomas Massie's opponents 2020, Todd McMurdy got 16,000 out of 84,000. In 22, they got 16,500 of 66,000. 24 opponents got 12,060 out of 53,000 basically. So the point is that we haven't seen 105,000 people vote in these primaries. But the difference is that this one actually mattered and people were paying attention because of all the money spent on it and because Thomas Massie's name. So this was the most expensive House primary in history. 35 million combined spending, not just by Israel, the Jews. Trump personally endorsed and pushed Galrain hard. They all traveled there. There was massive outside spending. And Galrain's 57K votes represent a surge in a mobilized electorate, not 40,000 out of nowhere. The 1 in 200 probability claim is statistically nonsense. The graphics math assumes prior low turnout opponent totals, 12 to 16,000, represent a fixed normal random baseline. But we've just already seen that's not true because even in 2020, there was 85,000 votes. And that was still a much smaller race money wise. So actually only 20,000 extra votes were cast 6 years later in a much more high profile race in a county where there's like 200 or a district where there's like 250,000 voters. So nothing is weird here. And so all this stuff they're saying is nonsense. Listen to this stuff.
We just watched Thomas Massie's election. I'll say it, rigged and stolen. I have no problem saying that. I don't care who attacks me over that. I know what I saw happen, and I think the country knows what they saw happen.
There's the graphic.
And nobody
about. See this? This is the graphic that Alex Jones is pushing around to say is proof that it was stolen. I mean, it's so stupid. But so. Here you go. Why do you call them new voters? The vote total in the primary on Tuesday was around 105,000. The vote total in the general election 24 was 280,000 in a super red district. So if it's 60% Republican, that means there's about 180,000 Republican voters in that district, which still means less than half of them turned out. Just over half of them turned out to vote in this. So excuse me. Still, those are primary numbers, folks. There's nothing weird here. There's nothing weird at all. He says the real mystery is how Massie received 278,000 in the 24 election, but only 47,000 of those came out this week. So is Massie the one getting a little help, little shady help? I don't know. I'm not accusing that, by the way, but you could make that argument as is being done here. So, again, we'll just look at the reasons Massie actually lost because we've just got to keep revisiting it. Here's a great clip of Massie saying how they have all these names that he still hasn't released, that he still hasn't gone to the floor to release. But listen to him and Ro Khanna, the buddies with the far left progressive. Look at Ro Khanna's doting face here. Ro Khanna just loves him some Massie, man. I think they went and made some sweet progressive Indian love after this with Massie's new body, and maybe Ro Khanna saw the pine cone. I don't know. There's a lot of pine cones in California, so Ro Khanna's probably used to playing with them. But I digress.
I saw that bothered me were the names of at least 6 men that have been redacted that are likely incriminated by their inclusion in these files.
I mean, there are 6 men, some of them with their photographs, that have been redacted, and there's no explanation why those people were redacted. And Thomas discovered it through his MIT logic. Some of the
the MIT logic is so smart. The 6 men they're talking about, the redacted names, these are the 6 names that Rokana then went to the floor and released, and we found out they were all all innocent. I mean, it's not funny for those guys, but these names that they uncovered because of his MIT genius, they were all innocent dudes who had nothing to do with Epstein at all. But that's what they found in the files. And after all this bragging, they still haven't brought anything else. You know, so much for the Epstein files.
What information did you see that led you to believe that those 6 men were implicated in Epstein's crimes?
It's a list of 20. You can go.
There's some real MIT smarts right here. So why do you think those 6 guys are implicated? Let's listen to this again. Watch Massie's response to why do you think these 6 guys were actually these unredacted names that you discovered with your MIT genius? Why are they implicated with Epstein?
It's a list of 20. You can go. You can actually. I'll direct you to the unredacted or the redacted file. It's a list of 20 individuals. 3 or 4. Maxwell and Epstein are on the list, and maybe 1 or 2 other people, and everybody else is redacted, and their names are redacted, but it also includes 20 pictures, 20 photographs. And they're sort of mugshots. They're not the best pictures. I'm not sure if they were mugshots or not, but there are at least 3 or 4 males in the photographs.
They were mugshots, and they were innocent, you moron, which you guys found out and looked real stupid about, and said you guys are so bold and brave, you never brought. This is why Thomas Massie got voted out. Has nothing to do with Israel, has nothing to do with the Jews, has to do with retarded stuff like this. And Massie's biggest blunder was teaming up with this guy, Rokana. Yeah, here's Rokana's latest. If you guys just want to know what Rokana is trying to pull off. This is Thomas Massie's best friend in Congress, guys. Thomas Massie, the true principled conservative, the true libertarian, the only America First candidate. Now the empire is going to crumble because of this. The Republic is over because his best friend is this guy, and we just kicked him out. But he's principled.
We must stand up to this modern-day Dred Scott court. They have unleashed a process that will eliminate the only black majority district in the state of South Carolina. South Carolina has a black population of 25%, but they would be left with not a single black majority district or black political representation in the House. We need term limits for these justices now, and we need to expand the Supreme Court from 9 to 13.
There it is. We need to expand the court. Yep, we need to subvert our system because the only way they can win. Yeah, thanks for telling us exactly what you think. Oh, this majority they don't have one majority district. Well, you know what? Then they should become a majority of Americans. Stop aborting your babies. You know, I mean, come on. It's so stupid. If you are 14% of a population, you're never going to have a majority vote. I'm sorry. That's how it works. So choose a side and vote for that side. And let's stop making it about race, you morons. This is the insanity, guys. This is Thomas Massie's best friend. Thomas Massie's best friend. And probably because they see way more eye to eye than Massie sees with MAGA. Just telling the truth. This is why Thomas Massie got his butt handed to him the other day. Now, there's a whole thing going on about Charlie Kirk, how he loved Thomas Massie and how he would have chosen Thomas Massie over Trump. Well, here's his last tweet. Well, first let's show how happy Charlie was that the big beautiful bill passed. One big beautiful bill passed. This makes the border court proof. We have a standing army. Congratulations, Republicans, on top of tax cuts, deregulation, unleashing American energy. You restored American sovereignty. Let's go. That was one of Charlie Kirk's last tweets. And then the very next tweet, One Big Beautiful Bill passes final vote. Massie and Fitzpatrick, the only two Republicans to vote no. Yeah, calling out Massie by name against the legislation that Charlie loved so much. So, yeah, tell me again how he would have just chosen Massie over everything Trump wanted to do. It seems to me like Charlie recognized, even though he does have some clips where he says, like, Massie's a good one, he also Charlie always sided with Trump over everybody else. Always. And that, my friends, is an incontrovertible fact. Let's get back to MTG. She's got more to say. In fact, here's the new psyop. They are pushing against Trump. And this is why they are so desperate, guys. Massie, first of all, let's just laugh for a second. They actually thought Massie was going to win. They did. It's 100% true. They really thought he was going to win. They really thought he mattered. Robert Barnes was out there taking bets. Dave Smith was talking about how he's going to win. Rich Barris is publishing fake polls to convince everybody. We have other influencers literally going to Kentucky to bring the energy. They thought they were going to win. And when Massie got not just lost, did exactly what, thank you, Jesus, we prayed for. He got destroyed by 10 points, just an absolute drubbing, and Trump completed the rest of the cleansing the last couple weeks in the primaries. They are panicked now, and they're getting a whole new marching orders. Here's your new narrative, folks. Listen to Marjorie Taylor Greene here.
And it was all on camera. And he joked with Zelensky, and I'm not going to quote it exactly right, but I'm sure people could find the interview. And Zelensky said that there were no elections in Ukraine because they were at war. That's why elections had been canceled. And President Trump turned to him and he said, wait a minute. You mean if there's a war going on, you can't have elections? And he said it jokingly, but at the same time, knowing President Trump, I looked at that and I thought, I don't know if he's saying it.
First of all, is something wrong with her face? She looks swollen. Did she just get a new Botox injection? What is going on? Look at those lips. My God, woman. These are the wrong things you should be emphasizing on your face. Okay, I'm sorry. That was mean. All right. This is, she heard Trump as Zelensky. Did you stopped elections because of a war? And I know President Trump, and so I knew when he said that, he actually was thinking, maybe I could do that. Wow, that is some logic right there. That is some hard evidence there, MTG. Well done. Well done. Or maybe Trump was just saying, you're insane, Zelensky. You are an anti-democratic authoritarian, and I'm calling you out on it. But no, MTG was like, well, I had to think. Listen to how she mumbles about this. Listen to how she can't put together the coherent thought because she knows it's nonsense.
Elections in Ukraine because they were at war. That's why elections had been canceled. And President Trump turned to him and he said, wait a minute. You mean if there's a war going on, you can't have elections?
I like how she tries to frame Trump as if he's some absolute moron who just got this idea all of a sudden thanks to Zelensky. Wait. You mean that if I have a war, I don't have to have elections? That's genius. Brilliant. That's basically what she's accusing.
And he said it jokingly, but at the same time, knowing.
He said it jokingly, but at the same time, knowing, she has to verify it with her own in-depth knowledge here. This is so ridiculous.
President Trump, I looked at that and I thought, I don't know if he's saying it joking, but I don't know if he's joking.
So you say during the war you can't have elections. So let me just say 3.5 years from now. So you mean if we happen to be in a war with somebody, no more elections? Oh, that's good. I wonder what the fake news is.
This is so clearly a mockery. And what Trump just said is, I wonder what the fake news would say about that. Exactly. He's saying, like, there's no way you could do this. And what he did right there is he's calling out the fake news for not calling out Zelensky, for making Zelensky a hero, because he's like, oh, they would never cover for me, but they're covering for you. I mean, it's so obvious. We just can see that. It is obvious. And Marjorie Taylor Greene's like, I don't think he was joking.
I remember that clip, and that's what people do.
Oh my God, I can remember it like it was yesterday. Because that day I just happened to be sober for the first 3 hours of the morning. You know, usually I'm not. Usually I start my whiskey when I wake up. But I got to tell you, I remember that one, MTG. What is your name again? Marjorie? Marjorie? I'm sorry. I'm 6 hours in. I do remember that. It's concerning. This is what they do, folks. This is what they do.
That's what psychos do, but others.
This is what psychos do. Oh my God. Who still watches these people?
Their humor is them actually flaunting it and telling you, like, wanting to have, marry his daughter or have sex with his daughter.
What? Did you just hear what he said? These psychos, they use humor to tell you what you're doing, like when he joked about marrying his daughter. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. This is so pathetic.
And now he's coming for Epstein. I mean, it's I think it's right there. Absolutely. He's like, I remember the clip. He goes, wait. I just got a big idea.
Oh, yeah, my big idea. So, Alex, you're the guy who told us Trump was delivering us from the deep state, that you are fighting the deep state. Trump was our guy. Thank God we finally had a warrior on our team. You told us this for years. And now you're telling us this whole time you knew that Trump had the hots for his daughter because of that joke, because they actually mean it. You're telling us the entire time you knew that, Alex, and you never warned us then? Alex, were you just a little drunk? Because, yeah, I know you're drunk a lot. I know you are. We worry about you. Because that's what you're saying, Alex. That's what you're saying right now. But you know, unless you're a grifter, which you are, and it gets more obvious by the day.
I can get into war. Well, he just said yesterday, he said, I may be here in 2028. I may just stay. I may be the Israeli prime minister. What about that?
I may be the Israeli prime minister. What is the guy? My God, it's the craziness. They are just. This is the sign of people who are so desperate for something to stick. They're just like, we are going to say the craziest things we could possibly say to terrify you. As this is insane. And I'm sorry, if you are believing these people at this point, you might be retarded. You might need to go get checked because your brain is no longer working. It's not just the Jews anymore. It is Trump, everything he jokes about, he actually means. Oh my God.
Well, that's so that type of behavior is someone planning an idea over and over.
Did you see? She really grabbed onto that. She was like, oh, Alex, I got something for you. You know, you got that idea and now you're just going to hit it over and over and over again. You know, like you guys are doing to us, like you're doing right now. You know, she got a little excited when Alex had something to say there because she finally kind of like something clicked in her brain. It was like, oh, I got one. I'm going to jump in now.
And over again, he constantly says it so that he can normalize the idea and test the support and test people's reactions. But saying it over and over and over again normalizes the idea.
Oh my God, you just nailed it on the head, Marjorie. Oh, I never put it together until just now. I'm going to lean my head down. That's tough. Oh my God, you nailed it. Just like the grifters hit us with their narratives from every angle, whether it's Alex moves to Tucker, moves to Megan, moves to Ian Carroll, moves to Nick Fuentes, moves to Dave Smith. We get it from every angle. Is that what you guys are telling us? Exactly like what you guys do? Huh? Oh, Marjorie. I can't believe it. You did it. How did I not see it? How did I not see it? Look at how his face goes down when she says it.
But saying it over and over and over again normalizes the idea. And
oh, look at he looks kind of off to the side. I wonder if his producer was like, Alex, put your head down. Watch his eyes.
Saying it.
See, he's looking over. He's like, should I do that? Should I act like, okay, yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Over and over and over again normalizes the idea. And I think it's incredibly dangerous and no one should ever accept it. Absolutely. Absolutely not. There cannot be a third term. No.
Oh my God, there should not be a third term. We can't allow it. Dude, it's It's so insane.
That's against our laws. That's against the Constitution. There is no third term.
Yeah, well,
and if this country is at war, no, our elections should not be canceled. Absolutely not.
We aren't funded by foreign.
We're not funded. We're funded by supplements. Okay. My God, folks. This is what they're trying now, though. They just lost so big. They're getting so beaten back that now the whole narrative is Trump's a full-on authoritarian and going crazier and crazier. And, you know, they're pushing it in so many places. Like the psyop is this. Trump is ruining the party. He's crushing us. He's ruining MAGA. We got Robert Barnes out the same time as Marjorie is telling us he's an authoritarian. Robert Barnes out here. Prediction of GOP is going to get utterly crushed in the midterms. They'll lose the House and badly. They'll lose the Senate and badly. They'll lose governorships in Ohio, Iowa, and Florida. Get ready for the bloodbath. All right, fat boy. I will take that bet. I'll take that bet. But again, it's so clear, guys. They got the memo. All right, Trump beat us again. We got to go deeper. And that's where we're at right now, folks. So, you know, it's absolutely pathetic. These people are getting so easy to spot. And I feel a little bit sick to my stomach every time I watch this, knowing that there was a time when I used to listen to Alex Jones and take him seriously, or at least half seriously, where I actually thought he was a good dude who might be just a little bit crazy, who actually was a patriot. And now I'm at the point where Alex, it's just so obvious, man. You guys have run to the dark side. You're completely subverting the only progress we've made in our country in decades. That's finally repealing back. We're watching this man do so much good, and it's happening. Whether it's as fast as you want or not, there are stuff happening. And for you to have fought for all this stuff you said you wanted for years and years, and we're seeing it now happen. And now you guys are fighting back, trying to scare us all away. And the craziness, let me start with the good news. The good news is that they're losing their audiences. It's getting worse and worse for them. And everybody's tuning them out, and the only people they have right now watching them are that muddled middle people who just, no matter what, they're always going to black pill. And then the other people are the Democrats who are cheering this on, saying, yes, go get Trump. And that's the good news. Their real influence is lesser and lesser, and it's because it's just gotten so obvious. It's gotten so obvious. It's really pathetic, and Alex Jones is now completely just kind of derailed any feasibility everyone's had. And talking about derailing themselves, Candace Owens has now just had Hunter Biden on her podcast. Yeah, Hunter Biden. That epitome of truth, that bastion of truth, Hunter Biden, has now been on Candace's podcast yesterday, and she's using him to push all kinds of crazy stuff. So, but first, before we get into it, let's look at what Candace herself said about Hunter Biden just a year and a half ago.
People are understandably outraged about this decision because also before he issued this extraordinary pardon, we were reliably informed by the mainstream media that the adults were back in charge. Oh, the Democrats, they're back in charge. No, this criminal's out of office. This Trump guy's out of here. The Bidens, oh, they're so wonderful, so moral, so highbrow. They would never pardon their son if he had done something wrong. But for Hunter Biden, no, guys, he's being treated differently because he was smoking crack. That's what the president is saying. My son had an addiction issue. He was smoking crack.
The tragedy.
Wow. Thanks, Candace, for actually telling the truth. Actually telling the truth back then. But now here we are today.
Of addiction. I mean, just the absolute tragedy of it.
Yeah.
But man, oh man, there is no space for that in discourse anymore. There's no space for the nuance.
She's agreeing with them exactly what the thing she called him out for. Just these people, man. But it gets so much worse. So now Candace, with her huge audience, her 3 million plus people, her nonstop influence of clips that surround it, trying to take down TPUSA and Erica Kirk. She's obviously moving on She's moving on to the greater narrative, the greater fight of trying to take down Trump, and now she's going to rewrite history. She's letting Hunter Biden help her rewrite history and put it out there into the ether. Because again, guys, we're at the desperation time for City of London. We're for the globalists, Davos, the cabal, the Democrats, the RINOs. The primaries have terrified them. And now it's time to make put the full court pressure on. They are unleashing everything they have now. They can be no holding back because Trump just won't go down. And so now they're literally bringing out Hunter Biden to rewrite history. And listen to this.
Is the laptop absolutely proved nothing, but it became this cultural touchstone. It was like it embodied the Biden crime family.
Mm-hmm.
And if you wanted to be able to believe that, not wanted to be able to believe that, if you believe that because you're being told that by people that you trust that have told you that your election was stolen, that your democracy was thwarted, that the process was unfair, is that all you had to do, and I get this, is look at the pictures. It doesn't look like a good guy to me.
Right.
Yeah, the pictures of you smoking crack and hooking up with underage prostitutes and getting 10% to the big guy. All of a sudden now the Hunter Biden laptop is a nothing? Really? That's what we're doing now? Are you serious? That's crazy. Then why did the media hide it right before the 2020 election? Why did they cover it up if it was a big nothing? I mean, really, this is what we're going to do now? Candace? Come on now. Folks, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been going after Candace since last year when she started just saying insane things about Charlie Kirk and his death. And I've had so many people push back on me. I want to know one person now who is still hanging on to Candace Owens' coattails, who's still kissing those butt cheeks. How do you defend this? How do you defend this? I want to know. I want to know how you can defend Candace after this one. I really do. But here, let's listen to this. It gets better, guys. It gets better. It gets more fun.
Like, you think I'm going to defend the DC elite of the left? They crushed my dad. They when they saw their chance, they did everything in their power to push him out. You know why? Because he was never part of that club. He was never part of the Epstein class. He lived in Delaware. Everybody that thinks.
Hold on a second. There it is, Epstein class. Even Hunter Biden got the narrative. He's like, don't worry, Candace. I read the notes before we do this interview. And I'm going to tell you right now how my dad, the honorable Joe Biden, is not part of the Epstein class. They were trying to get rid of him. They hate my dad because he was so truthful. And they betrayed us. This is insane.
You can think whatever you want about my dad. Is that literally my dad never bought a stock or a bond because he made a commitment in 1972 when he was 30 years old after Watergate never to own a stock or a bond.
Well, first of all, that's just stupid. So that kind of tells you that Joe Biden is stupid. Because anybody who's like, I'll never own a stock or a bond, you're kind of retarded. You might not know how to build wealth other than just being a politician. Secondly, the man has obviously gotten much wealthier since being in Congress and president. So what a stupid thing to say.
I listen to you and I go, right on. Like Epstein, like you want to figure out why they don't want to let the release all the Epstein files? All you got to do is literally look at a picture of Trump standing on his stage at his inauguration and look behind him.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. Hey, how about why did your dad not release them for 4 years when he had the files? Oh, well, maybe all you got to do is look at my dad when he was inaugurated. Remember when they had to wall off all of D.C. and nobody could be at the inauguration because we stole that election? But yeah, I won't talk about that. But you want to know why we didn't even try to release the files during those 4 years when my dad was in charge? Just look behind him. Yeah, just look behind him. Look who he's protected. Oh, there's my Tucker laugh. Oh, I got you, Tucker, Hunter. Oh, Tucker / Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like every single person.
He's protecting his donors without question.
I mean, it's crazy. Like
Candace is such a hard hitting interviewer. I just want to give her props for that. How she just pushed back so hard right there, and is like, yeah, but your dad hit him for 4 years. What about that? I mean, when she says this right here, like she's going there
Without question.
I mean, it's crazy.
Wait, no, she didn't. She didn't even try.
Palos and Poli and this and that and the other thing and all of these things. It's like, okay. And by the way, anyway.
You want to know how somebody's making something up? They don't know how to speak. His note was he just got a note that
whether it's
make it Epstein. Say Epstein, and say make it up. But yeah, here it gets better, guys. They just had a lot of fun with this. Again, Hunter Biden on Trump.
I mean, whether it's Butler or Charlie or
makes no sense.
These things that it's just not right. And I mean, it's so glaringly not right. It's almost as if they're just saying,
F you.
F you.
They're not even
I don't
trying.
care.
We don't even get good psyops anymore. And that's what I keep saying. I'm like, it's so disrespectful.
So disrespectful. The psyops. Butler. He obviously wasn't shot.
That we're not even getting good psyops anymore. Like we're supposed to believe he survived 4 assassination attempts. The first president that's ever survived 4.
What? We're supposed to believe he's the only president who survived 4 assassination attempts? Go read your history, Candace. How about Lincoln had way more than that? There's actually multiple presidents who had more than 4 assassination attempts on their lives. But I don't expect her to know that. But, it sounds good. Well, he's obvious. He can't be Superman. You can't survive 4 assassination attempts. That's impossible. By the way, how many assassination attempts did multiple other leaders in world history survive? It's innumerable once you go through each leader. There's leaders that survived 20 plus.
4 assassination attempts.
Yeah.
They lie to us about things. They make a big deal and then they make it want to, it's going to go away. They're going to keep pretending and telling us that this is a totally normal grieving widow. Okay. No one's buying that. Like that something's just not right here. Everyone can see that this is not how you would react to your husband being shot. And
maybe it's not how you would react, Candace, because you don't love your gay husband. He just he brings home the bacon from his trust fund, his $250 million trust fund. Yeah, the whole grieving thing, I've covered it many times before. As somebody who's actually lost a lot of my family, yeah, there's nothing weird about the grieving of Erica Kirk. You can point to other things. You can point to some of TPUSA's finances, whatever. I'll listen. But the whole her grieving is weird is such a stupid argument. Anybody who's actually lost somebody knows that. But anyways, I digress.
And this sort of just, I'm fine. And I 2 weeks later, I fully accept the narrative. I have no interest in anything else. It's over. Let's close it. I forgive him. Let's move on. You're asking us to abandon our common sense and our humanity is what you're asking us to do.
I don't think so. I actually forgave the guy who killed my parents within a couple weeks. So, it happens. I'm sorry. It just does. I guess. But Candace, I don't think understands that because I don't think she understands Christianity. I don't think she understands what being a Christian is. Because she's whatever you want her to be and doesn't have any real beliefs, but that is what it is.
And that kind of seems like where we're at. Like they're insisting on this, and I'm going, where is this going to go? Because we're not doing the thing they want us to do. Like they are just constantly giving us slop all the time. I mean, even the recent White House Correspondents' Dinner, there was so much theater to it.
There's so much theater about it. Yeah, it was theater because there just happened to be a lot of people there when a gunner ran through, but obviously false, huh, guys? So, so he continues on, presents himself as a victim, challenges Candace to look through the laptop for herself to find crimes of bribery. None of it's there. I was just an addict. It's just so sad. The assassins you hired were fake. Nick Sorter made me laugh right there. But this is the funniest part. You guys ready for this? This is the funniest part. So Hunter Biden, who is a moron, okay? And anybody who listens to him talk for more than 5 seconds can tell that. Candace Owens herself is a moron, but this is just so funny. So to set it up, Hunter Biden is like, Candace, somebody sent me a Bible verse to read to you. And Candace is like, oh, that's so nice. And Hunter Biden legitimately thinks he's speaking a blessing over Candace right now. So let's listen to the Bible verse somebody gave Hunter Biden to read to Candace and watch her face as he reads it.
Somebody literally sent this to me right before I came into you. They knew that I was going to talk to you. And I promise you I did not plan to do this.
No, you're so fine.
It was a prayer. If you are wise and understand God's ways, prove it by living an honorable life. Do good works with the humility that comes from wisdom. But if you are bitterly jealous and there is selfish ambition in your heart, don't cover up the truth with boasting and lying. For jealousy and selfishness are not God's kind of wisdom. Such things are earthly, unspiritual, and demonic. But wherever there is jealousy and selfish ambition, there you will find disorder and evil of every kind.
Oh man, that is so funny. He just described her whole grift. And Candace just sat there and took it. He's so stupid. He's so stupid. He actually thought it was a good thing. Oh my God. Whoo, man. That makes me laugh every time. It's just one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. That is, and her face when she she's getting so mad. She's just like, I can't believe it, but I have to pretend I like him. Oh my God, it's so funny. Oh, you guys are welcome. You're so welcome that I found that for you. As I think we all needed a good laugh. Oh, so they're pushing all this. And, as they're pushing this, it's just Candace's lies are getting just caught more and more. Here's from the TPUSA leaker who was leaking to Candace 6 days after Charlie died, getting buried by receipts, including Charlie explicitly saying, I don't trust her about Candace before his death. Here's Alex Clark sharing all these text messages. Charlie right here, I don't trust her about Candace. My suggestion is not to use her. She's not trustworthy. This is despite their close friendship. And then the new talking points just got sent out. We have Stu Peters going after Erica Kirk. Says Erica supports Spencer Pratt for mayor of LA, but didn't support Charlie's favorite congressman, Thomas Massie, for re-election. So again, we're just seeing the whole narrative, and it's all because Candace led the charge on this to take out Erica Kirk. And ask yourselves this, guys. And I know there are legitimate questions about Charlie's death, and there is still a lot of things to be answered. I completely agree with all that. But ask yourselves why it's always the absolute worst people going after Erica Kirk and TPUSA after all this. Ask yourself why. Because if you're trusting this chick still, you have issues. You have issues. If you're trusting Tucker Carlson or Alex Jones, there's something wrong. There's something wrong because we just have way too much evidence at this point, and it's insane. It's getting crazier. But Stu Peters, talk about scumbag of scumbags. Okay, that guy he's not as popular as those big guys because he's so much worse. He wasn't even smart enough to keep the grift going very long. But to have Hunter Biden on and just act as if this is normal and he's a good source on anything and not to push back on anything he says. What else do you need to see? What else do you need to see? So they're just pushing all these narratives. And, of course, finally, we got to get to the Jews because it's always the Jews or Epstein as they're pushing. And here's so with Massie gone, with the primaries ramped up and Trump just sloshing them all out, they're pushing the narratives they think work. So we're just going to hear more and more Epstein and the Jews. And here is Tucker Carlson just hammering this home again.
I mean, clearly it's not a sincere effort to reduce anti-Semitism. If you're going to gin up anti-Semitism, you're going to make people feel bitter. If you wanted people to blame their problems on Jews, whoever they are, this is exactly what you would do.
Is it? Or is it what you're doing, bro? By the way, the Jews, whoever they are, whoever those Jewish people are, I mean, this is the craziest stuff, and it's getting so bad. And again, you know, you guys have watched me for a long time. There are so many like legitimate criticisms of Israel and our relationship with Israel, but the ramping up, the whole idea Israel controls everything, this whole like anti-Jewish narrative because they control, you know, they got Thomas Massie out, they control Trump. This is leading to just some really gross things that are really ramping up. And here's like some examples of it. This guy, these people going out here now, they're using people like Tucker to make this kind of like thing legitimate.
Hey,
this is
Jewish.
ugly.
What's up, man? What's your thoughts about Jews sucking baby fetus? Hey, how about fuck you?
I mean,
you? Excuse me? I said, oh yeah.
This is becoming popular. It's like it's hard to watch. It's horrible. But there's just no. You're not like you can't act like this. You know, no matter what you think. But this is ramping up, and I am not. I mean, before last week, I never on my show once ever brought up the word anti-Semitic in a way that like, you know, this is a big thing because it can be used for bad stuff. It can be overused for censorship. But the problem is that now the grifter class has gone so far on this lane, and now the Thomas Massie stuff's making it even worse, that these people are using it as an excuse to just treat people horrible. And it's getting awful. But look at this. I mean, it's really getting crazy. Here's a lot of the Democratic candidates and how they're acting on this.
Graham Plattner in Maine, Abdul El Sayed in Michigan, Republican Senate candidate Dan Bilzerian in Florida, and Texas Democrat congressional candidate Maureen Galindo, all taking heat for the anti-Semitism they've been spewing.
So ask yourself this: why is it always the worst people? Okay. And again, I'm a Christian. Okay. I was raised like evangelical American Christian, and I'm still a Christian today. But, you know, I've served in ministry. I was 10 years a pastor, but I also agree. Like, I don't agree with the Israel's perfect nonsense. I don't believe Jews are a chosen people anymore. I don't subscribe to that theology. However, they are still like a people, and they deserve respect. And you don't just go out and say this kind of stuff. It's crazy. And it's all coming from the most evil people. The left, the grifters, hardcore Muslims. I mean, it's horrible stuff. And but it's obviously a psyop. And here's a really good clip explaining how like this is being pushed on. Okay.
The third thing you saw emerging last night was this idea that Massie should run for president in 2028. And that brings me really back to this idea of the cult of personality is not going to save us. They're never going to allow Massie to become president of the United States. The money controls President Trump. He is a puppet. That's it. At the heart of it. He is a puppet of all of this oligarch money. There's a reason freaking Adelson was in China with him on his trip.
Of course, it's always Adelson, right?
So all of this money flows in.
This is what they keep pushing. And this is leading signals confirm copy pasta coordination cluster, identical dual loyalty accusations against Miriam Adelson. And they're just pushing it across independent channels. Napolitano, Tucker, Redacted, Kim Iverson, Kyle Seraphin, Ryan Mata in a 24-hour window. You can see this is all just psyops being pushed. Verbatim claim labels her dual citizen more loyal to Israel. Operational hook is the Thomas Massie Kentucky primary. This is how they push stuff. Now listen to this. This is crazy. This is from a meeting of Islamic leaders. And listen to what they got to say about what's happening right now.
Now, within the Republican Party, we see the split, we see the fractures within what the MAGA movement. You see the likes of Tucker Carlson.
You hear them? They're talking about the psyop to split MAGA. All right? Very interesting.
You see the likes of Candace Owens. You see the likes of Megyn Kelly. You see the likes of Steve Bannon. He's the one who coined MAGA. Do you know what MAGA means? Do you know what MAGA? Do you know what MAGA? MAGA, make America great again, right? MAGA, make Israel great again. So he said, either you're MAGA or MAGA. Choose. So he accuses people like Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin, who he calls Mark Tel Aviv Levin. That's what he calls him. These cracks are happening. So now...
So he's telling us what they were doing, the influencers were doing to call out the Israel part of the MAGA wing, you know, to split us up. And then he says the cracks are showing.
For those who continue to question, is our work paying off? I'm telling you it is.
Is our work paying off? I'm telling you it is.
Is it where we want it to be? No, it's not. Is it where it should be? No, it's not. Are we able to get there? Yes, we are. Because Allah is providing evidence to us that your struggle is paying off, that your voices is making a difference. But it comes with what? It comes with sacrifices. It comes with hardships. It's the same as Surah Al-Isra. You want the victory in the first and second round?
These people are celebrating the fact that the influencers are pushing back on Trump and MAGA for being too close to Israel. Now, again, you can make all the legitimate criticisms of Israel you want. There are many to be had. You can make the arguments. I'm here for them. But once you go to the point where Israel is controlling everything, where Israel is the big enemy that runs us, then you are retarded, and I have nothing to listen to anymore because you've lost your mind, and you're actually on the side of the crazies. The worst people, the most anti-American people in the world are Israel controls everything. And I'm sorry, it's just true. And I have major issues with those who think Israel's perfect. I have major issues with those people. And I have major issues with a lot of theology about, you know, like how the Jews are more special than us. I have a lot of issues with that stuff. But I'll tell you what, I've never met any of those people who are anti-American. Those people always tend to be very pro-America, even with my disagreements with them. It's just the facts. And I've been doing this a long time. I've been studying this for 25 plus years. And here's an excellent breakdown on it, folks. Let's make this simple. If the Rothschilds control Israel, that means City of London controls Israel. Yeah. Somebody the other day was like, hey, you always say City of London. Can you name some names? Yeah. How about Rothschilds, Rockefellers? But there's also a bunch we don't know. That's like saying, hey, the CIA was bad. Can you name names? We don't know all the players. They're very good at hiding, but we know the system. The question, how come they only talk about Israel? How come the Israel-only crowd expects people to fall in line? How come they'll mention the Rothschilds to justify what they say about Israel, but not talk about City of London, Vatican, or Switzerland? I'll tell you why, because it's a psyop built to divide and distract. That's why the Nazi narrative was pushed also. And they both line up. I saw it as soon as Israel-only crowd started pushing. It wasn't like a bunch of people were red-pilled and talking about Israel. It was being forced. No expert but been awake a long time. The Israel push doesn't look like an awakening moment at all. It's not. It's being forced upon us. Get in line or you're not America first. Get in line or you're MAGA. Hell no. Screw you. I will not get in line. I can think for myself, thank you. And I can tell you that the idea that an 80-year-old country smaller than New Jersey is controlling the whole world is retarded. And if you think Israel is the problem, you're an idiot. You are an idiot. If you want to point at real problems, let's talk about them. If you want to say Israel's been used by City of London sometimes, sure, I agree. But But if you think that our biggest issue now is Israel, you are a moron and you're buying the noise. You're buying the noise. Don't do it. You can be better than that. We all can. Last I know, Israel hasn't done anything to hurt me as an American. They took a little bit of our money that we gave them. Do I always like it? Heck no. Has Israel done some dumb things? Absolutely. Have they probably pulled us into some, helped pull us into some wars we shouldn't have been to? Yeah, absolutely. But who was behind that? It wasn't Israel pulling the strings on that. It wasn't Israel that started that. It's the City of London system. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Yeah, does it make more sense that a system that's been around for literally almost 2,000 years, that was behind the entire British Empire, this is the biggest empire in world history, does it make more sense that they, our former enemies, the people we held a revolution against to get free of, does it make more sense that they'd be our big enemy than the little guys that were just created 80 years ago? Yeah, it does. And so you tell me Israel's behind it all, you tell me you're a moron. And it's time to wake up. It's time to wake up and stop playing these games. You want to know who a grifter is? There's somebody on YouTube interviewing each other, telling you that Israel's the problem. There's someone out there telling you that there's no hope. There's someone telling you that it's all black pill, bro. It's all the technocrats and Israel's funding them. That's how you know who a grifter is. In our world right now, especially if they're claiming to be America first, they're not MAGA. They're not part of us. And they're trying to ruin our movement because they are terrified and they're doing everything they can. Every country has cabal puppets in it, not just Israel. The cabal has multiple strongholds, not just one. They use America against the world for a long time. Not dismissing Rothschild's link to Israel. Absolutely not. If the post made you think I even missed my point, even in checkers, you don't focus on one piece. 100%. These guys are everywhere. They think we're stupid, and they want us to look past this. Why do you think none of these people ever talk about City of London? Even address it. Even the conspiracy people. Why has Alex Smith never said those words? Why is Ian Carroll never said City of London? Because if you're going to touch on every conspiracy, you'd at least talk about it, right? Even if you don't agree with it. But they don't even mention it. This is the one hiding in the shadows. And it's the true system enemy that's trying to end Donald Trump. And they are terrified right now, guys. They are terrified. And that's why they have the biggest people ramping up the language. Ramping up the language, trying to end what Donald Trump and this MAGA movement is trying to do. Because once they lose America once and for all, they have no hope. Once they lose all their footholds, like Iran, proxy state, like Venezuela, they have no hope to come back. And that's why we're winning, guys. That's how you know we're winning, because they're in absolute panic. And it's why we're going to win, because it's so easy to see through at this point. All right, guys. That was today's Grifter Report. It was a long one, but hit that like, hit that subscribe if you're enjoying today's show. I do have a quick couple things I just want to touch on, some quick hitters. But first, I'm going to get back in the chat because I've been out of it for a long time, and I apologize to you guys for that. Had a couple super chats come in. Remington with the $5 super chat says, if Marjorie Taylor Greene wasn't in politics, she'd be the Karen in the HOA walking around harassing the neighborhood. She's also the grifting construction person, contractor who robs you blind when she does your work for you. Remington with another $2 says, forgiveness is for ourselves. Yeah, we're supposed to forgive others too. That's a command of Jesus. So, but I hear what you're saying. We're also supposed to forgive ourselves. You're right. In order to get full healing, we must. All right. Let's catch up on here. Lots of people. Dayfun says David Icke was calling out Babylon in the 90s. But that Babylon means nothing. Babylon means whatever you want it to. You know, David Icke is one of them. He's a total fraud. He's a total fraud. I saw through him years ago. That guy he's the epitome. He's in the Whitney Webb camp of one of the assets that is basically always saying that no matter what, we can't win because they're always controlled. And he puts it to like the impossible idea of how you win, is which everybody's got to wake up. And once everybody wakes up, we can finally maybe get a real leader someday, probably, maybe. And that's the whole Whitney Webb thing, that is actually blackpilling, because you all know it's impossible to meet what they say is possible to win. And that's how you do it. That's how you blackpill people. And that's how you know they're not legit. And David Icke is very much one of those people. He's very much one of those people. MTG looks like she'd terrorize people in the woods with a chainsaw. I love it. That's so great. Sebastian says, didn't all these podcasters have a secret meeting together before Trump was elected? That's been alleged. It hasn't been verified, but there are people who have talked about that. Yeah. Boggs, did the Bible say God's going to gather the people? Yeah, but that's an Old Testament prophecy, and I believe that's a prophecy about them coming back from Babylon. I don't believe it's for our future. That was put together by Darby in the 1800s. Literally nobody in the Middle Ages or in the early church fathers thought Israel was coming back. So that's a more modern thing to interpret that prophecy as Israel getting their land back today. Scott Ritter is terrible. Yeah, Scott Ritter is awful pedophile. Whitney, anyway, the wind blows Webb. I love that you guys see through it now. Was this Peter? Where'd you go? Says 6 months ago I didn't know about Dirty London. Yeah, man, most people didn't. It's okay. But that shows you we're winning. It's starting to come out more. We're starting to break through these narratives. And again, once you see it, you can't unsee it because it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Muslims are probably questioning why Allah is allowing the U.S. to kick the crap out of them. I mean, yeah, they always have an excuse. They always have an excuse. So, they make up something always for it. Let's get into a couple things. By the way, guys, please hit that like, hit that subscribe. Thank you. Hit the hype if YouTube gives you the option. And guys, if you're enjoying the show, please think about maybe supporting the channel for just a few bucks a month so I can keep doing what I do. You can do so by joining the membership. And in the membership, you'll get Discord access and access to members only lives and other content, which I think I'm going to be doing a members live tonight. I'm still trying to plan it out, but if not tonight, then tomorrow. But yeah, please consider it. The link is in the description. You get a free month if you click that link. Free month, try it out. See if you like the community. See if you like the content. And if you do, you can stay after that for just a few bucks a month and support the channel. All right. Courtney says, Israel's a stepping stone to City of London in the awakening process. It can be. Yeah, it can be. The problem is too many people go the Israel route and just get stuck there. I think the much better route to understanding the deep state, the City of London deep state, is understanding the intelligence agencies deep state. That's what I think is a much better route to get there. Heather says, so happy you found the channel. Give an awesome take on the information. You're welcome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Griffin Zeus says, Balfour Declaration says the Windsors will assume the throne of Israel. Yeah, well, there you go. That's UK right there, right? Windsor's connected to, I believe, UK and Germany. I could be wrong about that. It's been a while since I read about them. Dave writes, Trump posted he has to miss a family event because he has to stay in D.C. for the good of the country. He's about to bomb Iran. Well, he's missing his son's wedding. And I believe he's doing it for two reasons. I think he's staying possibly because we're going to go after Iran, but it's also possible that he just knows it's not safe for him right now because they are really, really ramping it up. So Boggs says, sorry to hear about my parents. Thank you, Boggs. I appreciate that. Yeah, I lost my parents when I was 30 years old and lost my brother 2 years later. So I understand grief. Trust me. I got to work on those emojis. I do appreciate. I do apologize, guys. This being sick this week, I've been able to still make my lives and clip my videos, but because I've been sick, I just have not been able to get to anything extra. So sorry about that, guys. I The membership is going to get more built out. I did not anticipate getting sick. So I don't know that about Muhammad, but he did all kinds of crazy stuff. Let's see. All right. Let's keep. I got a couple other things I want to share with you guys before we go today. So just good stuff, guys. Wins. We're getting wins. RFK Jr. just announced the largest autism fraud bust in U.S. history in Minnesota. So let's let RFK break this down.
Today's arrests represent the largest autism fraud bust in American history. This was not a paperwork error. It was not a technical violation. This was organized threat, organized theft that exploited the most vulnerable children in America. Deceived families, stole taxpayer dollars meant to help children with autism access legitimate care and support. Investigators uncovered brazen schemes that billed taxpayers for non-existent services, fraudulent diagnoses, and fake care, while criminals enrich themselves at public expense. Every fraudulent autism diagnosis steals time, care, and resources from the children for whom this program was denied and who desperately need this care. Families with autistic children already face enormous challenges navigating therapies, specialists, and support systems. Fraud makes those barriers even steeper. America is facing a real autism crisis. Today, approximately 1 in every 31 children is diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. Medicaid finances a significant share of autism-related services nationwide, and spending has risen dramatically over the last decade, and a lot of that spending is because of fraud. When criminals exploit these programs, taxpayers lose billions, and vulnerable children lose.
So they caught these people. I mean, it's just disgusting how they use autism to and all these other areas to steal. My oldest son is autistic, for those who don't know. He's high functioning, so we're really blessed about that. But still, it's disgusting. But the fraud continues to be uncovered. So we're winning there, and we're just going to keep unearthing billions and billions. Kelly Loeffler came out today and let us all know that the Biden administration ordered their staff to ignore the Treasury's don't pay list for grants. 70% flagged for fraud, and they were just letting it right through. $14 billion went out the door. So that's now being exposed. We have Trump yesterday rolled back regulations on refrigeration that are absolutely going to change. This is helping independent businesses, and will also should help with food prices. So that's another win right there. And then this is my favorite. All right, even though those others are probably more important. Daylight savings time, folks. Past committee. Looks like we're going to finally get rid of daylight savings time. So that's going to make me a very happy man. I hate daylight savings time so much. So Trump is going to truly change America, make it great again. And then the last thing is I just saw this pop up from, excuse me one second. Can I get it there? There we are. Trump addressed Tulsi. So I wanted to read this because of what happened. So Trump says, unfortunately, after having done a great job, Tulsi will leave the administration. Her wonderful husband, Abraham's recently diagnosed with a rare form of bone cancer. She wants to be with him, bringing him back to good health as they currently fight a tough battle. I have no doubt he'll be better than ever. Tulsi's done an incredible job. We'll miss her. Her highly respected principal deputy director of national intelligence, Aaron Lucas, will serve as acting director. So there we go. That's, I mean, to me, this looks like, This makes me think it's legit, but we'll see. Again, we'll see how it plays out. But I'm just very glad that Trump seems to be going on good terms. They already have a plan. I don't think this will stop anything. In some ways, like I try to look at the bright side of things. Maybe with Tulsi being gone, the next person's less high profile, and maybe they'll be able to get more done behind the scenes. You just never know. Right? There'll be less distraction. Who knows? We'll see how it goes, but it's ultimately very sad. And I think Tulsi probably was awesome at her job. And you never know. But this also could be this could be a Pam Bondi, Todd Blanche situation, guys, where Tulsi did the beginning stuff and now they bring in the bulldog to finish the job. You never know. You never know. So let's watch and see. I'll be watching carefully. You guys know it. You can always get the updates here and see how this goes. So, all right, guys. Love you guys. Appreciate you. You guys are the best. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything before we close up today. But went long today. Thank you guys for sticking it out. This is a great group. Again, please hit the like, hit the subscribe, and consider joining by going into the description, clicking that link. But you guys have a blessed Memorial Day weekend. I'll still do my show on Monday, so don't worry about that. I'm not taking the Monday off. But members, I plan on a members live either tonight or tomorrow. So I'll post and give you guys a heads up so you can be ready for that. But otherwise, let's pray and call it a day. So Heavenly Father, thank you for today. God, this beautiful day. We pray for Tulsi Gabbard's husband, God, for health, and that you're just with their family in this situation. I pray there's a smooth transition and that whatever she's accomplished, God, it will just there'll be no stopping it or slowing it down based on this transition. Thank you for the Trump administration, all they're doing. We pray for protection, wisdom, and boldness for all of them, Lord, especially our president, and just so you bless our nation moving forward, that we truly can enter a golden age that God so may have called for, that Trump can continue to pull off the impossible, and Lord, we could just defeat all the enemies that have been trying to just ruin our country and set us back for so long. We can see them utterly defeated and turn a better future to our kids, our grandkids, our great-grandkids. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Bless you guys. Thank you for watching. Love this channel. Love you guys. And I will see you, most of you, Monday. And members, I'll see you sooner. God bless. Take care.
Screaming like a siren at night, red and blue shouting, nobody's right. Smoke in the streets, truth under attack. Everybody's loud, nobody's got facts. Feeds keep scrolling, nerves stay tight. Matchsticks flicked in the dead of night. They sell fear, cheap package the lies, while the clock keeps ticking, empires on fire. Can't sit quiet while the world's on edge. Lines in the sand, standing on the ledge. No script, no leash, no polish, quiet. Just a voice in the dark and a spark to the wire. This is